Relax over the ball and really give that back a stretch. Excellent. Deep breaths in. Keeping it nice and controlled. And relax. All right, we've got one more set. Are we ready? Weights in position. And let's go. And lifting up. Keep going. We've got 8. Keep going. Really squeeze the bottom as well. Keep it there. Good. 4, 3, 2, and last one. Relax over the ball. Good job. Coming back onto your knees, bringing one knee up onto the ball. Great. We're now going to do some tricep extensions. So starting with one hand in, up at your shoulder, you're going to extend that arm out. We don't want too much of a swing. We want that arm directly in line with the body. Good job. Keeping that going for 8, 7, 6. Really feel that muscle burning. Come on. And 4, 3, 2 to go. Last one. And relax. Swapping over knees and swapping over arms. Up in our ready position with our hands and weight. And let's go. Extend. Really burn that tricep muscle. Excellent work. We've got 8. Continue breathing. 6 to go. Good job. Making sure the arm's right up against the body. 4 to go. Holding it in. 2 to go. Last one. Let's swap sides. We've got one more set. Just give me 4 on each side. And 4, 3. Really extend. Last one. Good job. Swapping sides. We've got 4 more. Let's go. And 4, 3, 2, and last one. Great track. I hope you felt that burn. Grab a drink, and we'll see you after the break. Welcome back. How's the body feeling so far? Starting to burn? Excellent, that's what we want. Okay, for our last segment, we're going to do a few more arm extensions and then we'll do a cool down. All right, so starting with our arms by our sides, clasping your weight, you're just going to lift that arm directly out in front. We only want it to eye level, not too high. Excellent. Come with me, let's go. Straight out in front. Again, this exercise must be performed very slowly. You want every muscle working. Good. Now squeeze in with your abs. Keep focus on this as well as moving your arms. Okay, we really want to draw in with the belly button, keeping your shoulders down and pulled back. The only movement should be with our arms. Keep it going. You should feel your arms starting to get heavier and heavier. And that's when the toning takes place. Let's go. Keep going. Straight out in front. Excellent work. We've got 2 more on each side. Let's go. 2. Excellent. Last one. Right. Okay, now are you ready? Lifting it up, we're going to hold it there. Hold. Really strong. Every muscle should be working with forearms, upper arm, shoulder. Excellent. Keep breathing. Can you feel that muscles getting heavier? Good. 2, 1, and relax. Opposite arm and up. Holding it there. Good. Excellent. These muscles are going to help for when you're carrying all your shopping bags. Keeping them strong. Let's go. Hold. We've got 4, 3, 2, and relax. Excellent. Let's roll the shoulders now. Roll the shoulders. Big circles. Same movement now, but directly out to the side. Excellent. Let's go. Great. Good job. Out. Again, directly out to the side from the body. Excellent. Really tense those muscles. Good job. Now we're working the upper shoulder. Don't forget to breathe, and don't forget to draw in with the abs. Excellent. Keep going. Up. And across. Good job. Now we've got one more on each side. Let's go. And one. Hold. Okay. Relax the arms. Now we're going to hold in that position. Are you ready? Lifting and up. And hold. Good. Really strong. Draw in with the abs. Shoulders back. Good job. Come on, fight it. We've got 4, 3, 2, and relax. Opposite arm up. Let's go. And up. Holding. Keep it there. Breathing in. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. And relax. Excellent job. You've done a great job today. Weights down. Shaking your arms out. Now the part we all deserve, a great stretch. Arms up to the roof, clasping one elbow and letting it draw down the back. Excellent. Getting a great tricep stretch and holding it there. Now it's very important to stretch out these muscles that we've worked today. They've had a great workout and now we just want to reduce all the lactic acid buildup. Let's swap over arms. And don't forget to keep breathing. We want to regulate that heartbeat. Excellent. Lifting up with the arms, down by our sides. Now we're going to give ourselves an upper shoulder stretch. Excellent. Getting a great stretch through here. To increase the stretch, you can look in the opposite direction. Great. Let's swap over sides. Excellent. Now all stretches should be performed nice and slowly. We want no fast movements. They could cause injury. Nice and slow. Excellent. All right, now let's give our back and body a rotation. So putting our arms on our opposite legs and rotating around. Great. Getting a great stretch through the midline here. Holding it there. Good job. Let's facing the other way now. Excellent. The further you can reach around the ball, the better the stretch will be. Excellent. Okay, now finally, let's do a bicep stretch. Okay, now reaching forward, giving our bicep a stretch, bending in and stretching the bicep. Good work. Opposite arm, stretching the bicep, bending it in and stretching the tricep. Wow, excellent job today. You have been fantastic. We'll catch you next.
NTV, turning on your world.
Let me tell you one thing, Will
you shut your lips?
There is something you need to know about Chris.
Lilian is embedded.
And I'll fight my corner, maybe tonight.
I don't want him. Anyone near my baby.
I don't want to see him.
You know what? Just save it. Save it.
Stop it.
That's what happened.
I just wanna hold
Doctor, I don't get what you're saying.
This woman is trouble. She's going to ruin my everything. I can't even trust myself around her.
Remember who the boss is here.
How can I forget? She's running after a married man and she's making me do all her dirty work.
I can't see you.
Oh, give me love, my mind. Give me love like never before. 'Cause lately I've been craving more.
NTV, turning on your world.
Nze Farida Nakaziwe tutandise ne President Yoweri Museveni akyamukiriza Bannayuganda olwaleero bw'atadde omukono ku tteeka eriwera ebisiyaga mu ggwanga. President ayogezza eddoboozi ery'omwanguka eri amawanga agabadde gamuwalampa ku President NTV abagwetabamu n'abo abaguwagira bakwasibwa omukono ogw'ekyuma awatali kusaasira. Musasi waffe katusingawo.
Ng'ebula eddakiika 8 okwera ssaawa 8 ez'emisana, President Museveni ayingidde mu kifo abadde bakuŋŋaanidde bannamawulire era amangu ago n'ateeka omukono ku libadde ebbago ku bisiyaga bwe lityo ne lifuuka etteeka. Olumaze okuteeka omukono ku tteeka lino, Museveni ategeezezza ng'omuze guno bwe gwaleetebwa ebibinja by'abazungu okwonoona abaana naddala mu masomero. Era ategeezezza nga bwe bajja okukwasa omukono gw'ekyuma ku bantu abaguleeta okwetaba ssaako n'okuguwagira.
The topic of homosexuals was provoked by the arrogant and careless Western groups that are fond of coming into our schools and recruiting young children into homosexuality and lesbianism, just as they carelessly handle other issues concerning Africa.
President agambye nti yaluddewo okuteeka omukono ku tteeka lino si kubanga yabadde awalirizibwa amawanga g'ebweru, wabula kubanga abadde akyetegereza ebiri mu tteeka lino era yamaze funa bujulizi okuva mu bakakensa bannassaayansi.
Even now I have not really fully understood it, that you can fail to be attracted to all these beautiful women here and elsewhere, and you are attracted by a man. That's a very serious matter. It means there's something really wrong with you.
Ku by'amawanga g'ebweru okuuma Uganda obuyambi, Museveni agambye nti kino tekigenda kukyusa ndowooza y'Abannayuganda era ategeezezza buli gy'amawanga ga Africa gabadde mennyamivu nnyo olw'emize egireetebwa abazungu.
Why do you come to us? How you are kissing, how you are... It's not our culture, but we see the Europeans doing it, but we just keep quiet. We never say anything.
Ku ky'etteeka okuyisibwa mu Parliament awatali babaka bamala, Museveni agambye nti ekikulu kwe kumanya ekiri mu tteeka. Abamu ku bakulu okuva mu gavumenti ne Parliament abaddewo ng'etteeka lino liyisibwa, kino bakiwagidde.
Akikoze kubanga twagala ku protecting abaana baffe, family yaffe, ate n'okwedefendinga ffe nga country.
Any sensible person will take this positively and say, oh, these people have asserted their position, they've asserted their mind, and let's respect them as they are, and we'll continue relating.
Etteeka lino bwe liyisibwa kitegeeza nti omuntu asingisibwa omusawo gw'okulya ebisiyaga ayolekedde ebibonerezo omuli okusibibwa obulamu bwe bwonna ssaako n'oyo aguzizza omulundi ogusooka asibibwa myaka 14. Sohail Mugabi, NTV akawungezi.
Webale nnyo Sohail Mugabe. Oluvannyuma lwa President Museveni okussa omukono ku tteeka erirwanyisa ebisiyaga, abantu batandikiddewo okujaganya. Abamu bagenze mu masinzizo okwebaza Katonda olw'ekirabo kino. Wabula nga Bannayuganda bajjukira olunaku luno, Sipiika wa Parliament Rebecca Kadaga tasaana kwerabirwa olw'obuvumu bwa zaalaga eri abazungu ku nsonga eno.
Tosobola kwogera ku tteeka lino ly'okulwanyisa ebisiyaga eriteekeddwako omukono olwaleero n'otayogera ku Sipiika Rebecca Kadaga. Bwe ababaka bangi baali tebannasalawo ku nsonga eno, Sipiika Kadaga yawa omubaka yaleeta etteeka lino amaanyi David Bahati bwe yamutegeeza nti lyakuyisibwa. Tekyewuunyisa nti ennaku z'omwezi 12 mu mwezi gwa Oktoba 2012 Kadaga yayanizibwa ng'omuzira ng'akomyeyo okuva mu ggwanga lya Canada gye yategereza abazungu nti abaddugavu baali balina okwesalirawo ku nsonga eno. Abalwanyisa ebisiyaga bakuŋŋaanira ku kisaawe Entebbe okusiima Kadaga olw'obuvumbu yayolesa eri abazungu abakulembeze abasinga kye batya.
Tetujja kufuuka baddu. Tukozese ebintu byaffe bye tulina tujja kusobola okweyimirizaawo. Ne mbagamba nti Africa yejja okuyimirizaawo ensi yonna mu century enejja. N'olwekyo ffe tuli mu kintu Abafrika tetulina kwegayira abantu balala.
Olwaleero amawulire bwe gafulumye nti President Museveni wakuteeka omukono ku tteeka lino, abantu abamu batandikidde okukunga abalala okusaba nga beebaza omutonzi.
Long live President Museveni. Oh yeah!
Omega Healing Center n'amasuba amasomero agawerako gakuŋŋaanidde awo si kusiima President Museveni kyokka wabula n'okulaga nti eggwanga liguddewo essuula empya mu kaweefube w'okulwanyisa ebisiyaga.
Baana baffe mutusonyiwe okuba nti twatankana mu ekyo nti era kibadde kyetaagisa ne Paalamenti okutuula okusobola okunnyonnyola nti omusajja aba musajja n'omukazi aba mukazi. Embwa enkazi egenda na mbwa nsajja. Embuzi enkazi egenda na mbuzi nsajja. Naye ffe abantu tubadde tulimbibwa ab'amawanga ag'ebweru nga batugamba nti ate omusajja asobola okuwasa musajja munne n'omukazi okuwasa mukazi munne.
Tumugamba nti yeyongera okukola amateeka, yeyongera okusayininga amateeka agalwanyisa ebisiyaga n'ebintu ebirala ebitali bya bulijjo abantu bye bayinza okukola.
Ndi musanyufu nnyo kubanga ataasiza abaana abato abakyali mu masomero.
Ate mu Owino abasuubuzi nabo badde bajaganya olw'okuyisibwa kw'etteeka lino. Bano balabiddwako nga bakutte ebipande ebiwagira ekya President Museveni okuteeka omukono ku tteeka lino.
Naffe otuwadde omukisa kubanga osayiniza etteeka erigenda okukuuma abaana baffe.
Tutegeezeddwa nti waliwo olukuŋŋaana gaggada oluteekebwa mu kiseera ekitali kyewala mu kisaawe Kololo abantu gye banaakuŋŋaanira okusaba Katonda wamu n'okujaguza olw'etteeka eriyisiddwa.
Bo abamu ku bannaddiini etteeka lino libacamudde ne basuulamu n'obuyimba so nga abamu ku babaka ba Paalamenti bagamba nti kino kyakuyamba nnyo mu kunyweza obuwanga bw'Abafirika.
Oyo Museveni gwe mulaba tayagalayo ebisiyaga enono pasita gwe mulaba tayagalayo bisiyaga ekalikayaye mama.
Kiraga nti gavumenti eno etadde empisa z'abantu waggulu wa buli kintu ekirala. Ekyo kitegeeza nti kikulu nnyo eggwanga lino ligenda kukwata ekkubo eddala. Ekyokusatu kusaba okuddiddwamu. Tubadde tusaba nti Uganda ebalibwe ng'agamu ku mawanga Katonda g'ayita abaana be. Katonda ayita amawanga omwana oba ayita eggwanga omwana.
Bw'abawo ebisiyaga teweetaaga atomic bomb. Ebisiyaga byennyini is an atomic bomb of its own. Nti essaawa olwaliro singa buli musajja adda ku musajja munne na buli mukazi nadda ku mukazi munne, ensi eno giweeyo emyaka 2 gyokka ojja kusangamu mbwa na mbuzi abantu nga bafa baggwawo kubanga tewabaddewo reproduction, tewabaddewo okuzaala. Tewali muli wa bisiyaga asobola tulaga mwana gwe yazaala okuyita mu kulya ebisiyaga.
Tukizudde nti no si buli kye bagamba nti no kituufu kiba kituufu. Naffe nga bannayuganda tulina okwekuba mu ttooki tulabe nti no kino kitukolera oba tekitukolera.
This is a foreign culture that we don't need to import in the country.
Kano okala mulabe enkuba obwengula butadde ffe twebaza Mukama era saagala bantu batye bazungu kubanga boogera oluzungu oluwanvu.
Ekyokwekwasa nti bajja tumma obuyambi ekyo temuli tukendeeze bukendeeza buli akuzi na bubbi obuyita mu bitongole bya gavumenti.
Tugenda kukolawo rehabilitation center, operation rehabilitation. Eri Kayihura akole ogugwe naffe abaffe tukole ogwaffe. Kati mwabali eri tubagamba mujje mukome eweeka temwazaalibwa bwe mutyo. Mwenna era katwagala genda mu bufo bonna abasiyaga gye bwekweka ba Chris mu birwabo abo betuwulira abo n'abalala abo bataga balekerawo kona soka ttiimu zaffe era kati Uganda egenda kuzannya kapiira.
NTV ebigambo mbiwulidde etteeka lisiddwako omukono ng'anaakwatibwa era n'asingisibwa omusango ogwo. Ekibonerezo ekisimbayo okuba eky'amaanyi ky'ekyokusibwa amayisa. Naawe twagala otuwe endowooza yo ng'otubuulira ky'oyogera ku kya Pulezidenti Museveni okussa omukono ku tteeka erirwanyisa ebisiyaga. Oyogera ki ku kya Pulezidenti Museveni okussa omukono ku tteeka erirwanyisa ebisiyaga? Genda ku peegi yaffe ya Facebook NTV Uganda, teekako endowooza yo nga tunnabakomekkereza NTV akawungeezi. Tugenda kuba tusoma ezimu ku zo. Mu mawulire amalala, poliisi erabudde abantu naddala abasajja abatandise okutwalira amateeka mu ngalo nga bambula abakazi ababa bambadde obugoye obumpi. Omwogezi wa poliisi Judith Nabakoba agamba nti etteeka lino eryayisibwa ku ntandikwa y'omwezi guno wabula akakiiko akateekebwawo kulyekenneenya okusalawo obanga ddala enkunamye nazo zikwatibwako etteeka lino. Tutegeezeddwa nti mu bitundu ebimu mu Kampala waliwo ababadde batandise okwambula bamaama b'eggwanga mu ngeri eswaza ennyo.
Twagala okutegeeza eggwanga nti etteeka lyateekebwako omukono naye libadde terinatandika kukola. Waliwo emitendera etteeka ligirina okuyitamu okusobola okutandika okukola. Tugamba okuteekawo akakiiko akanaalondoola ebinaateekebwa mu kukola ate era n'okutunuulira ebyo ebyogerebwako mu tteeka. So akakiiko kano Minisita wa Ethics and Integrity abadde tannakassaawo. Ekyo nekitegeeza nti kijja kubeera kizibu ffe okutandika okukola ng'akakiiko ako tekaliiwo. Naye omuntu anaasangibwa ng'ayambula oba ng'agezaako okugoba omukyala oba omwami nti ayambadde enkunamyo ng'akakiiko tekannateekebwawo ajja kuba amenya tteeka kubanga akakiiko kano ke kayina okutuwa ekyokukola.
Judith Nabakoba yayogerera poliisi ya Uganda. Mu mawulire amalala, ababaka ba Parliament abana abaakazibwako eri abakiwagi nga ne kkooti yabagobye mu Parliament wiiki ewedde baddukidde mu kkooti ensukkulumu beekubira enduulu oluvannyuma lw'obutamatira n'ekyasaliddwawo kkooti etaputa amateeka. Ababaka bano bagamba nti balina essuubi nti bajja kutuuka ku buwanguzi olw'okuba kkooti mu baddukidde eyayisa ekiwandiiko ekitangira okubagoba mu Parliament yadde nga bagobwa mu kibiina ki NRM.
Ababaka bano ne balooya baabwe olwaleero babukeereza nkokola okugenda ku kkooti ensukkulumu ekkololo mu Kampala bagitegeeze nti bali mu kuteekateeka kujulira kwabwe.
Okujulira kwaffe tukutaddeyo ennaku z'omwezi zonna kkooti ejja kubeetuwa ennaku z'omwezi z'enaakuwulira okuyimiriza ekisooka okuyimiriza ebiragiro byabwe, ekyokubiri n'okugobera ddala ensala yaabwe.
Munongosereza gavumenti ne minisita w'ebyamateeka zaleese mwe muli akawaayiro akagamba nti singa omubaka anaagobwanga mu kibiina ajja kusubwanga ekifo kye mu Parliament. Kati kitegeeza otwogerera bino tewaliwo tteeka litugoba.
Kati tutuuse wano mu kkooti eyo tusuubira ngu y'Abannayuganda. Wano waliwo abasajja n'abakyala abakolera kugenda mu ggulu, bakolera Katonda ye yaleetako obwenkanya.
Mu kiwandiiko NTV kyerabyeko balooya b'ababaka bano bawandiikidde ne sipiika wa Paalamenti nga bamusaba atunuulire kyamuli ebiwandiiko byonna ebyekuusa ku kubajja mu Paalamenti kuba balooya baabwe bali mu kubaga kujulira mu kkooti ensukkulumu. Bagamba nti tebatidde kuba kkooti mwe balaze yayisadde ekiragiro nti si baakuva mu Paalamenti okutuusa nga kkooti ziwadde ensala ekikkiriza ate ne batajulira.
Singa waliwo ensala ya kkooti enkulu ya Supreme Court eyo eteekwa kutegeka enkooti za wansi na Constitutional Court ya wansi, naye Constitutional Court yagiganye nekola ebibyo.
Bano bagamba nti tewali kulonda kuyinza kutegekebwa okutuusa nga kkooti esazeewo eggoye ku kujulira kwabwe, era ne balabula akakiiko k'ebyokulonda obuteetantala kutegeka kalulu konna okujjuza ebifo byabwe. Ekiwandiiko kino kiweereddwako n'omumyuka w'omukubiriza wa Paalamenti, omuwandiisi w'akakiiko k'ebyokulonda, Registrar wa kkooti ensukkulumu, Registrar wa kkooti ejulirwamu, Ssaabawolereza wa gavumenti ne balooya. Ensonda zitegeezezza nti balooya b'ababaka bano basibye babaga ekiwandiiko eky'okujulira nga banokolayo bye batakkaanya n'abalamuzi ba kkooti ya ssemateeka abaawa ensala yaabwe ku lw'okutanula Ssabbiiti ewedde. Kitegeezeddwa nti ababaka bakiwagi ne balooya baabwe babadde bakyalindirira ensala ya kkooti ya ssemateeka ng'eteereddwako emikono gy'abalamuzi abaasalawo eggoye nti ababaka abana bave mu Paalamenti. Wisdom Kiyonga, NTV akawungeezi.
Webale nnyo Ernst Wisdom Kiyondo kyaffe ekisoose nga bannayuganda bwe bakyamuukiridde oluvannyuma lwa President Museveni okussa omukono ku tteeka eriwera ebisiyaga mu ggwanga. Bwetyo ne tukubuuza oyogera ki ku kya President Museveni okussa omukono ku tteeka erirwanyisa ebisiyaga. Endowooza zammwe ku Facebook zatandise dda okujja era bw'ogenda ku peegi yaffe NTV Uganda nsookedde ku Sempa Wycliffe agamba President Museveni tumwongere ekisanja akyatukolera amakula mangi kuba tatiisibwatiisibwa baana bato. Long live NRM. Kyensa Nile nze sirina kyakwogera kuba Uganda nyumba ye, songa Prince Mario Collins agamba it's the worst mistake he has ever done in his leadership. Simanyi bulungi nnyo kyategeeza. Jumaiga agamba kyakoze kitulaze nti musajja muvumu atakolera ku mpisa nsiufu ez'abannaffe abazungu abeeyita abagezi ng'ate bye bakola bya kisiru. Helen Babaza agamba if there ever a time I was proud to be Ugandan except for when Kiprotich won gold, it's today. Saka Stephen M agamba amaze n'akolayo ekyamagezi bukyanga ajja mu buyinza kiraze bulungi Uganda tetidde America ne Canada abaseegu. Kazibwe Andrew Senyonga agamba katusabe nti ekyo si kiwaani na kukyamuukiriza bantu nti ebya President Museveni mubikkiriza okubikkiriza bimala kusibwa mu nkola. Ahimbisibwe Francis agamba ffe Obama atuveeko tukola ebitusanyusa n'eggwanga lyaffe. Miski Jamil agamba kyakabi truly this has shown that we are an independent state. Our boys are gonna be a little safer in schools. Mukama yebazibwe mulungi. Bernard Emmanuel agamba it has been long waited cry. Agamba it's been a long waited cry to God. Kankome Kerezene Osinde Lawrence agamba he's looking for votes in next election and I think the law is not going to help because even some big people in the government are doing it, so the law is going to affect the local people. Mwebale nnyo endowooza zammwe. Ngenda kwongera okusoma endala nga situndaba bakomekereza NTV akawungeeze. Ekitundu ekyokubiri katweyongereyo ne mawulire okuva eruweero oluvannyuma lwa namutika w'enkuba afudde mbye eggulo omwabadde ne kibuyaga omungi amasomero 7 galagiddwa okugira nga gaggaddewo. Kino kiddiridde abantu bangi okusigala nga tebalina we beegeka luba nga n'obusolya ku masomero gano butekoddwa.
Omuyaga ogwakonsa akawungeezi k'eggulu gwabunyiza abantu b'eruweero emiwabo era nga bangi ku bo gwabalese tebalina we beegeka luba ssaako n'okuba nga kakati beerya nkuta.
Omuyaga ne gujja ogw'amaanyi. Abaana bano nze nabadde nabo bwe nti wano ne tudduka ne tusookera muno mwe twavuddemu ne tudda muli twavudde ne tudda muli ng'enkuba amabati gonna egatwala.
Amasomero 7 okuli erya Mark College School, Luweero Girls, Ntumwa Primary School, Bright Future, Luweero Modern School, Grace Future Primary School n'amalala mangi gakoseddwa mu muyaga guno era ng'omumyuka w'omubaka wa President mu kitundu kino alagidde gasooke gawumula okutuusa nga gamaze okwetereza olwo galyoke gaddemu okusomesa.
Those 7 schools I'm telling you about teziriiko wadde obusolya. N'olwekyo tulina ngeri gye tukuuma mu baana awatali kasolya awatali ki. Ate n'ebintu byabwe bingi byayononese. Ebitabo, biki, engoye n'ebirala kwegamba nga era balina okudda ewaka.
Essomero lino erya Mark College School alikulembera tutegeezezza nti yadde ng'enkuba yabalese baginyenyeza mitwe naye tewali muntu n'omu yakoseddwa era ng'okusomesa bakuyimirizaamu okutuusa nga bamaliriza okuzimba.
Our estimation is nti by Monday we should have normal classes going on.
Kyokka bano bokka si be baakoseddwa n'ekitebe kya disitulikiti y'Eruweero olwaleero abakozi basibye mu mboozi olw'ebizimbe byabwe byonna okubambulwa. Ye ssentebe wa disitulikiti eno Haji Nadduli agambye nti bamaze okuwandiikira minisitule evunaanyizibwa ku nsonga z'Eruweero ku nsonga y'okubadduukirira.
Naddala Minister for Disaster and Preparedness eyo abenga yayinza okutunuulira okulaba kiki kyayinza okutudduukirira ffe nga disitulikiti n'abantu baffe aba Luweero.
Waliwo ne musajja mukulu ono wamu n'abaana be 9 bonna kati basula bweru olw'omuyaga okubambula ennyumba yaabwe.
Ebintu byonna embuyaga n'egenda nabyo ennyumba yonna n'esaanawo kasooli gwe nabadde naye yenna n'atoba yenna yafudde embeera yonna gye ndi mbannange si nnungi, embeera mbi.
Emmere okuli ebitooke n'ebirala byonna byayonooneddwa nga kati abantu bano boolekedde enjala gw'omuwadde akatebe.
Nsaba ennyumba yange mwe nsobola okuteeka obwana bwange buno, buzzukulu bwange kye nsaba, n'ekyokulya nasigadde nga sirina kubanga n'omulimu mbadde sirina.
Omumyuka w'omubaka wa pulezidenti mu kitundu kino olwaleero asibye mu kulambula abo abaakoseddwa oluvannyuma asobole okutegeeza bekikwatako ku buyambi obwetaagisa. Tutegeezeddwa nti abantu abasoba mu 205 be bakoseddwa omuyaga guno ogwakuntidde mu nkuba eyatonnya olunaku lw'eggulo. Dini Lubo wa Sava.
Coming soon on NTV.
Many generations ago, the warrior Apoena from the Karaway tribe fell in love with young Antonia. When they returned to the Araguaia River with the young white girl carrying their child, they awoke Iaru's hatred. Raised away from the curse, Solano Rangel, the last descendant of Antonia and Apoena, returns to uncover his roots, but he couldn't resist Estella's charm. But she keeps a secret in the past.
Estella.
Her real name is Estrella Karaway, and her destiny is to fulfill the curse. Destiny River.
Coming soon on NTV. On the next episode of Rational Hearts.
I hear that, my friend, but now you have to become fish food. Attention, I need help. This is the passenger speaking. The pilot passed out. I think it's a heart attack. The plane is crashing.
You don't know what happened?
No, I don't. What happened?
Norma's been murdered. It was Leo.
Leo?
Where's he hiding, Wanda?
A Rational Heart.
Babale nnyo Dini Lubo wa Sava. Mawulire amalala ag'ennaku abazadde bakedde kugumba wabweru w'essomero erimanyiddwa nga Dove Daycare and Nursery School e Lubowa nga baagala bakulira essomero lino babaddize ensimbi ze basasudde kyokka olwamaze essomero ne liggalwa. Abazadde bagamba nti bafuna obubaka ku masimu obubategeeza nga bwe bagenda okuggalawo essomero okumala ennaku 3 kyokka oluvannyuma essomero lyaggaddwa ddala era nga n'alikulira essimu teriiko.
Abazadde abasinga nga bakyala bakedde ku ssomero lino erya Dove Daycare and Nursery e Lubowa nga baagala bakulira essomero babannyonnyole lwaki baggadde essomero mu biseera eby'okusoma.
Message ze baatuweereza baali batugamba mbuno ba closinze for a short time ne batugamba by Monday abaana bagenda kuddamu basome.
Ku makya ga leero basanze essomero liggaddwa nga wateereddwawo ekiwandiiko nti kino kifo kya bwannannyini era nga waliwo n'omukuumi okutangira omuntu yenna okuyingira.
Obuzibu bwe batugambye nannyini kizimbe kino abanja.
Buli abaddewo aze ne receipt kwe yasasulira mu bujjuvu kyokka nga buli receipt eriko emiwendo myawufu.
Nze omwana owange abadde asasula emitwalo 79 ng'asoma half day. Owa full day babadde basasula emitwalo 99. Kati ezo nga ze fees zokka kubanze transport tubadde tusasula emitwalo 45.
Muno mubadde muna abazadde abalala abatali bannayuganda. Nannyini ssomero lino ategerekese nga Nkeera Henry abazadde bagamba tebamumanyi era nga babadde bakolagana n'omukyalo ono ayitibwa Carol Nampewo.
Nina mukwano gwange gwe nagamba nti nina abaana ku Dove Nursery School n'angamba nti kanawulidde olugambo nti eyo ssomero bagenda liggala.
Bakanyiza kuba masimu ga ssomero ge bamanyi naye nga gonna tegaliiko era bagamba obubaka obwasembyeyo okubaweerezebwa bwayitidde mu mukutu gwa internet.
Batuwe ssente zaffe kuba essomero lyo terikyaliwo.
Oluvannyuma poliisi ezze n'esaba abazadde okwabulira ekifo kino era ne bawa amagezi ensonga okuzitwala mu mateeka.
Omukazi omukadde wadde tebamusasula ssente ze okumala omwaka gumu n'ekitundu nga kigambibwa mbu wadde buwera obukadde 66 omwaka ogumu n'ekitundu badde batamusasula so n'asalawo okweddiza amayumba ge.
Kigambibwa nti essomero lino libadde lisomesa abaana abali mu 9 era nga limazeewo emyaka egikunuukirizaamu 3. Gertrude Tumusiime Owitwale, NTV.
Babiri bagudde mu bidiba ebisibwamu zaabu oba gold ne bafa. Bino bibadde ku kyalo Amagolo mu district ya Busia. Bano babadde basomera ku ssomero lya Amawero mu kibiina ekyokuna era nga bombi babadde bava mu nnyumba emu.
Bano kati abagenzi banyuluddwa mu bidiba ne batwalibwa mu maka g'abazadde baabwe nga kati enteekateeka z'okuziika zigenda mu maaso. Taata w'abagenzi Amos Okutu yagamba nti abaana babadde bagenze kuwuga kyokka ne bagwa mu kidiba.
So I received the message when they had retrieved them from the mine that the two children had passed away.
Okusinziira ku batuuze abantu bana be bakafiira mu bidiba bino bukyanga mwaka guno gutandika.
Luli twazika babiri n'olwajo babiri bafudde mulundi gumu ate abaana bakyaja wano.
Kigambibwa nti abaana bangi bavudde mu masomero nga beeyuna okusima zaabu.
Men drop out of schools are many have increased compared to those past years.
Ebisolo nabyo bizze bigwa mu bidiba bino.
So we have lost animals. Also one muzei one day fall in one of those that many hole.
Abatuuze basaba gavumenti bayambeko okussaawo enkola ey'okusima zaabu ennungamu okuziyiza abantu abafiira mu bidiba bino.
I was suggesting that those ones who are trying to cultivate gold underground, what they should do after getting their gold, they could cover those holes.
Batubuulidde nti ebidiba bino bingi ddala era nga kati bisoba mu 1,600.
Mu mizannyo abazannyi 25 be bayitiddwa okwetaba mu kutendekebwa kwa ttiimu y'eggwanga nga Uganda Cranes yeetegekera okwambalagana n'abaaliko bannantameggwa ba Africa aba Zambia mu mupiira ogw'omukwano. Ttiimu zino zombi zeetegekera empaka ez'okusunsulamu abaneetabamu za Africa omwaka ogujja. Cranes yakukyalira Zambia mu luzannya olw'okubeera mu kibuga Ndola. Abazannyi abayitiddwa mulimu abakwasi ba ggoolo 3 okuli Dennis Onyango ne Robert Odongokara. Mu bazibizi mulimu Dennis Iguma, Jaja Wild Godfrey Walusimbi, Henry Kalungi, Isaac Isinde ne Captain Andrew Mwesigwa n'abalala. Abawuutanyi mulimu Tony Maweje, Kizito Geoffrey, Brian Majega n'abalala. Mu bateebi mulimu Geoffrey Massa, Emmanuel Okwi, Hamis Kiza, Serunkuma Dan ne Tony Odor.
NTV, turning on your world.
What's that?
That document.
Oh, that. Just some business.
I came to apologize. I have no right to interfere in your lives.
I've eliminated the only evidence that links me to Ivan Chinawa's death.
But you didn't have to kill another person.
It's not like I've got anything to hide, Nene. Just go ahead.
Victoria, how is it like to work for Miles Vilagazi?
Blood seemed to matter not.
Blood?
Yeah, blood.
I'm responsible for your father's death.
Today's highlight with
New Geisha with extracts from Mother Nature.
If you try and do something like that again, I swear I'll take you down right here.
Help me! Please help me! Help me!
Listen here, why are you taking your clothes off?
The cockroaches! They're alive!
My mom always wants what's best for us. That's why she uses New Geisha with extracts from nature. New Geisha with extracts from Mother Nature.
And the change of government won't stop a thing. I've run out of fingers counting the number of multinationals setting up here. What about the 3 companies that announced their plans to launch last week? I say they're shortly. Me, I'd be looking to sell. At what price? More. Much, much more. I don't know who you are or how you know these things, but one thing I'm sure of, you're in the wrong job. Here, call me tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'd like to hear more from you.
Are you ready for your big break? The East African, understanding the region.
You're watching Morning at NTV.
Old friends pass away and new friends come. And just like days, an old day goes and a new day comes. But the most important thing is to make sure that you make it meaningful. Make a meaningful friend, make a meaningful day. Welcome to the biggest breakfast collection in the East and Central Africa, and definitely the world over. Coming to you live from the Kampala Serena rooftop. If you're joining us on air or online, this is Morning at NTV. My name is Brian Mlondo. Standing by at the NTV studios at the International Conference Center is Mabel Kebirungi, Joel Senyonyi, and Simon Kosiate are here as well. And what an awesome, today's menu is just beyond satisfaction. From the press review to the big story to everyday life, and of course, some great goodies courtesy of HTC. Let's get started with our question of the day. Good morning. There you go. Today's question of the day is, when was the anti-gay bill tabled on the floor of Parliament? It's now law, but when was it tabled on the floor of Parliament? The first 5 respondents to this question will each walk away with a mug courtesy of Morning at NTV. Send those answers to our Facebook page, Morning at NTV. Like the page first, and of course, share it with us on Twitter at Morning at NTV. You can follow us there, and the SMS line is open 6565, and my friend, you could be a winner. Alternatively, follow us on these avenues at Kasiate, at Joel Senyonyi, at MB Gold, and at Mebkeb. It's a fantastic morning right here at the Serena. Let's join Mabel at the NTV studios with the stories that are making headlines. Good morning.
So much for joining us on air and online this Tuesday, the 25th of February. Here are some of the stories making headlines. President Yoweri Museveni assents into law the controversial anti-homosexuality bill. Social media yesterday was a beehive of activity, with Uganda trending the most as the news broke out about Uganda's anti-gay stance. We also bring you a chronology of events from a private member's bill to now a law.
You're watching Morning at NTV.
President Yoweri Museveni yesterday assented into law the controversial anti-homosexuality bill, saying recruiters, mercenaries and exhibitors of homosexuality will not be tolerated and will be harshly punished. The president's move came amid international pressure not to do so. US President Barack Obama had previously warned that signing the bill may compromise Uganda's relationship, and Canada had also threatened to withdraw.
President Yoweri Museveni was ushered into the conference center of the State House, Entebbe, and immediately, without wasting any time, signed the controversial anti-homosexuality bill into law. After enacting the bill into law, President Museveni said homosexual acts have been fanned by arrogant Western groups who come to derail children, most especially in schools. President Museveni added that recruiters, mercenaries and exhibitors of homosexuality will be punished harshly.
Even now I have not really fully understood it, that you can fail to be attracted to all these beautiful women here and elsewhere, and you are attracted by a man. That's a very serious matter. It means there's something really wrong with you.
Since Parliament passed the anti-homosexuality bill in December last year, the president's position on it moved back and forth, with him arguing that he wouldn't sign the bill into law, describing homosexuals as sick people who needed help, not imprisonment. He denied that it had anything to do with donor pressure.
And that's why I was able to tell you that although the Americans are giving us $1 trillion for AIDS, much of it is just for these NGOs who are running up and down, doing nothing anyway.
On how Western countries might react following the signing of the bill, the president said for long Africa has been disappointed by the lifestyle of the West.
Here we don't do things like that. There's enough opportunity. You go into your house. Why do you have to? Why do you come to us? How you are kissing? How you are?
Whether or not the president passed the bill without quorum is another matter. The president insists that the most important aspect of the bill was its content. Dora West MP David Bahati, credited for introducing the private members bill in 2009, and Ethics Minister Simon Lokodo were ecstatic.
This is a victory for the family of Uganda, the future of our children, and certainly a triumph of our sovereignty as a country that got independence 50 years ago.
Because I know any sensible person will take this positively and say, oh, these people have asserted their position, they've asserted their mind, and let's respect them as they are, and we'll continue relating.
Those accused of aggravated homosexuality could face life imprisonment, while the first-time offenders could face up to 14 years in jail. The initial proposal for the death penalty was removed following criticism from the West. For the president, assenting to the anti-homosexuality bill has been like placing icing on the cake. The president has also condemned the Western powers for what he has called uncultured sexual practices, whereby he has also said that they have rejected African politeness. I'm Suhail Mugabe, NTV, State House, Entebbe.
Uganda was trending yesterday on various forms of social media as the news broke out about Uganda's anti-gay stance. Those for and against took to their Twitter and Facebook accounts expressing gratitude or disappointment at the president for signing the popular anti-gay bill into law. Desmond Tutu, in a statement released yesterday, said he was disheartened by the move. We must be entirely clear about this. The history of people is littered with attempts to legislate against love or marriage across class, caste and race, but there is no scientific basic or genetic rationale for love. There is only the grace of God, he said. UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Navi Pillay, in a statement, said disapproval of homosexuality by some can never justify violating the fundamental human rights of others. It is formulated so broadly that it may lead to abuse of power and accusations against anyone, not just LGBT people. The anti-homosexuality bill has now become law after President Museveni finally put pen to paper. The very controversial bill has been a long time coming. Maurice Ochol brings us the journey of this private members bill.
In April 2009, Parliament passed a resolution allowing Dora West Member of Parliament David Bahati to submit a private members bill. And on the 14th of August that year, he did. According to Bahati, the bill was aimed at strengthening the nation's capacity to deal with emerging internal and external threats to traditional heterosexual family. While the bill immediately generated debate, one of the clauses that caught many people's attention was that it proposed the death penalty. The bill was taken back to Parliament for amendment, and the clause on the death penalty was withdrawn and replaced with life imprisonment. The bill was shelved for a while in 2010, with some members of Parliament that had field visits and workshops abroad saying they were intimidated and coerced to sign it. In 2011, the bill was shelved for the second time. The international community had come down hard on Uganda. In October 2012, when the Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Kadaga, went to Canada for a parliamentary conference, pressure was asserted. She was asked why she was allowing for the passing of the anti-homosexuality bill. In her response, Kadaga showed no sympathy, and upon her return, she was received with cheers by religious leaders and those against the act of homosexuality.
Canada aid, they can keep it. They can keep their aid.
The bill was finally resurrected from the shelf in 2012. Kadaga promised to ensure its passing on a Christmas gift to Ugandans. This did not happen. Instead, the bill was deferred. Throughout 2013, activists and members of the gay community did what they could to persuade different lawmakers and government officials against passing the bill. Finally, it was put on the order paper and in December, passed by legislators. There was a heated debate in the House when the Prime Minister Mama Mbabazi raised the issue of lack of quorum. He also stated that the executive had not adequately consulted on the matter. Less than 100 legislators in the House at the time of the passing of the bill, which was less than 1/3 of all the elected members of Parliament that are needed for a bill to be passed.
We were not the required number by the Constitution, by our rules of procedure.
We have been passing bills without him coming to complain that we don't have a quorum.
We have a speaker with a backup bone.
For 5 years, Ugandans have been waiting for. The Prime Minister is extremely dishonest.
In fact, some other legislators headed by Fox Odoi promised to challenge this matter in courts of law.
You don't take any decision to legislate when you don't have quorum.
Is homosexuality something that arrived in Uganda today?
The president then wrote to the Speaker of Parliament condemning the way in which the bill was passed. He said it was hurried and there was no quorum. In January this year, NRM legislators at the party caucus insisted that the president pass the bill. He in turn told them that he would invite scientists and some medics to explain whether homosexuality was a generic behavior or an adopted behavior. After consultation with the scientists, the president came to a conclusion.
Then we shall have a war with the homosexual lobby in the world, but
US President Barack Obama was not too pleased with President Museveni's train of thought. He sounded a warning to Museveni not to sign the bill or face serious consequences. In turn, President Museveni said he would not be intimidated. He further said that no one should teach him how to run his house.
Everybody's lecturing us. How can you find a married man and you lecture him how to run his house?
While many are pleased with today's events, others are not. Some medical personnel say the new law violates the ethical code of medical practice.
If the law tells you that if you do say something about that, you are going to be, the doctor is going to run and report you, then you're going to keep quiet, and then of course it becomes difficult for you to be protected, because then the health worker is not aware on the sexual practice that you are indulging in, and therefore cannot give you the information that you require.
We don't believe that homosexuality is a crime, or that it's something that should not be criminalized. Then your ethics will prevent you from revealing those issues, because the role of the doctor is to be the friend, philosopher, and physician of the patient.
We're not going to tell people what people tell and confide in us, because it will erode the confidence that patients have in us as doctors.
Today was perhaps the gift that a section of Ugandans had been praying for. It, however, opens a new chapter in Ugandans' relations with the West, whether they will continue to support or whether they will, as promised, withdraw aid and shun the country that has come to be labeled homophobic. Maurice Ochol, NTV.
This issue, I'm sure, will still be a hot potato in today's news. Well, we now return to the Kampala Serena Hotel rooftop to Simon, Brian and Joel for the press review.
Tuesday, February 25th, 2014, live from the rooftop of the Kampala Serena Hotel. This morning at NTV's press review this morning with myself, Simon Kasiate, and the usual good guys, Joel and Brian. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
How is it?
Good. How are you?
Who of you is angry or who of you is jolly?
It depends on the context. Angry that they are undressing young ladies in town.
And men.
Surely that, and men? Well, I'm yet to hear that. But,
yes, in Iganga they undressed two guys.
For having their shirts unbuttoned up to somewhere.
And sagging pants. So.
Were they undressed by ladies?
They were dressed, I think, in balance.
But were they undressed by ladies or?
Iganga, the other day we had women beating their husbands. I was thinking,
No.
I met a Musoga who was with his hands on his head, saying, Jinemiko Sijaji was leaving his house.
You were asking me what I brought from?
From Uyidinda.
Yes. Well, of course, you know that ginger story is very interesting stuff. That's why you haven't seen any blackouts. For you who are watching us, I'm sure your TVs are not using dry cell. That means ESCOM is generating enough electricity. Going to the front pages of the Daily Monitor this morning, joy, anger as President Museveni signs law against gays. Do I need to explain much about this? Well, it's in the Daily Monitor this morning. It's the headline story. The anti-homosexuality bill is now an act of parliament. It's law as of yesterday when President Museveni put pen to paper, showing, if I may use a derogatory sexist word, the middle finger to all those who have been against him with regard to passing this bill. That includes and is not limited to the President of the USA, Barack Obama.
It's good you clearly qualified it as a derogatory one. Well, of course, clearly, Ugandans you could see on the streets of Kampala, very jocund. They are in.
Wait a minute, was there like some kind of jamboree, carnival mood?
Well, you could see that. You could see that, and we are yet to see a lot more. I don't know where in Ginger, you don't have TV sets in Ginger. You don't just you have power. But Ugandans are excited. It is a statement.
What you said Ugandans are excited? Let me tell you, I tried to talk to my uncle somewhere in Rukunjiri last evening, and he was like, okay, the bill was signed, so there seemed not have been any kind of notice of this happening. So which Ugandans are you talking about?
And you see, President Museveni defiantly, it's not every day that you get to see the president sent to a bill in full glare of cameras and so on. He was telling these guys.
For the most part, we get to know he signed one 2 weeks after he signed it, if we are so lucky.
I think that was, I watched CNN and we were the headline on CNN, and it was a statement, Good luck, Jonathan never did that. Definitely Putin never did that. But this guy signs the bill in full view.
Yes, that's why Museveni is not Putin. Neither is he good like Jonathan. We must understand this. Uganda is not Spain.
But you see, that's why some people are saying this gentleman seems to have pulled out his demagogic tendencies because they feel, okay, if you must sign the law, must you, politicize it and
what will a last term Democratic president in the USA, where there is no chance of a Democrat taking power after him, do to him? I mean, this man is playing his games very right. Before you know it, a Republican will come into the US, and then before you know it, we are back to the darlings of the USA.
Because they precisely my point. That's why some people are saying, don't make it so big a deal, just sign the thing. But either way, it was ascended through, and here we are.
Let's not give it so much airplay. Homosexuality or no homosexuality, life moves on, and let's get down something slightly closer to homosexuality. You fellows stop undressing so-called indecently dressed women and to some extent men, and that's the editorial in the Daily Monitor this morning. The Daily Monitor is telling you in its editorial that the anti-pornographic law is being abused, and there's a kicker there which says the media has also been remiss in failing to properly explain the nitty-gritty of the act. For starters, nowhere in the 19 pages of the act is the word miniskirt mentioned, yet has been dubbed the anti-miniskirt law. Joel, I said the same thing on this show not so long ago.
That's very true, and as the media, we need to take responsibility. I think we've not done this bill now law, quite some good justice. There's a way we micromanage things. We focus on some little trivial, mundane things at times, but yes, we should take responsibility.
And Brian has with him before him a press statement from the police spokesperson.
Yesterday I asked you, and I partially blame the minister for bringing this whole debate and largely focusing it on the miniskirt, and of course the media to run with the story because it would have sold lots of
Well,
papers.
if you're expecting the minister to already say the truth, then forget it. I mean, what is the police saying?
Well, this is an official statement from Judith Nabakoba. The president assented to the anti-pornography
you're not going
bill.
to read the whole bill.
Not,
What's
okay,
the
let me
gist of the
quote.
whole thing? Don't undress women.
And you can see
if
a
you undress
picture.
women, you are breaking the law.
Yes, a
you're
picture.
breaking section what? Where is it? This is there. Here. I see it right in front
This man
of
is
you.
not a liar. I'm sorry,
I'm
lawyer.
I'm not.
No,
I don't want to be misquoted. But
read the last
there's a
paragraph for us.
picture of a woman that was undressed in the old taxi park. You can see that it has made rounds on social media, and especially Facebook. And Judith Nabakova says, we urge the public to restrain themselves from engaging in illegal activities of undressing women, as this will create another offense under the Penal Code Act, Section 128, under the offenses of indecent assault.
I think this is one of the most grotesque things I've seen in the recent past. Because you see, it seems like people have been waiting for an opportunity. They've been relishing for a moment where they can get a hold of these young ladies.
Are they undressing them simply because they're indecently dressed, or they want to get a peep into what else has been concealed by the little dressing they have on them?
Whatever the case might be, what we are saying is that this is wrong. And, you know, to many now, they begin to realize, to think this bill is, after all, repugnant. And yet that is not the case. If you think somebody is indecently dressed, like they are saying, you citizen arrest, you know, take them over. It's just like mob justice. They always see it all over the place. I think we need to style up.
Well, the Daily Monitor is taking very tremendous steps towards the direction of helping you understand what the bill is all about. If you get yourself a copy of the Monitor, it's the headline feature in Next magazine. Well, let's get down into the inside pages that talk about news. We are now being told that Uganda will build an oil refinery before constructing that much-touted pipeline. And there is an extensive interview with the PS4 Energy engineer Kalisa Kabagambe. You want to know what's happening in the oily world of Uganda? Get yourself a copy of the Daily Monitor this morning.
I'll tell you my challenge with this. You see, this whole oil issue is surrounded by ambiguity, and unnecessarily. So today we say pipeline and refinery, then now we say this, we seem very disorganized. I don't know why.
Then when we who of the electricity sector who tell you the plain truth as it is, that we generate more than you people can even consume, you start saying that the electricity
one day we are going to get you here. Because
on that particular one,
I don't want the discussion to go to electricity, but when I got my bill and it was only 1,000 shillings, and I thought to myself, what have they reduced?
Well, perhaps now they've broken it down well. There's VAT, just in case you thought if you pay 100,000 shillings, that is all to the units. No,
we'll talk about
VAT somewhere, and we'll get this guy.
I will be glad to be the guest. Well, getting more into the Daily Monitor, there is a story of anguish playing out on page 3 of a school that closed under mysterious circumstances, at least to the parents. The school owners and administrators knew what they were doing, but they seem to have played a trick to their parents. This foolery and open brigandage of school owners should stop. I think the parents of this school must take action. But what are we talking about? Get yourself a copy of the Daily Monitor so that you have no buts or whys or whens, especially with regard to this story.
Where did I see the bit about the so-called rebel MPs writing to the speaker?
Oh, babies, haha. Well, there we are crying out to Mommy, save us, and do not do what you've been told to do by the Constitutional Court. Cries out Honorable Nsereko, Honorable Niwagawa, Honorable Tinka Simile, and Honorable Sechikubo.
He's in yellow.
When Honorable Sechikubo is speaking, is he actually talking or crying? Like, it seems like he's trying to evoke some pity.
But you see, getting to the real issue of you know, that's underlying here. I know yesterday we talked about, you know, them coming out and pontificating all over the place, making noise. Well, that's said and done. You see, at the end of the day, if you're to critically look at the meaning of this judgment, for example, I don't think this is right. I think we are setting a not so good precedence. And you see, it was on the benchmark of the NRM about a week or so ago was proposing to have certain amendments to the Constitution. And one of them was that when a member gets expelled from their party, then they get thrown out of Parliament. And I think this is not good, yeah, because we are going to stifle debate, we are going to stifle independence of minds.
Well, if you wanted independence of mind, if you wanted independence of personal opinion, you should have remained in the old system of individual merit. You cried for
but being a part of a party does not mean I don't have an independent mind. All right.
Listen, when you belong to a church, like the Catholic Church, for example, you must espouse the dogmas and doctrines of the Catholic Church. If you want to be a Muslim, you must not partake in pork, even if you have it as an appetite. You must not drink. If you're a Catholic, it's one man, one wife. If you want to have 4 with the Catholic Church. So if you want to speak independent differently of what your party is saying, get out of that party and go to that party that espouses the views and beliefs that you belong to. That's what I argued here not so long ago. I said, you wanted independence of mind, individual merit.
If you also go back to history, in Sereko and Kakoza Mutale, we are part of the group that were fighting multi-party politics. And they were saying, let's stay in the movement, you know.
So that you can play your ball.
But after that, he still stayed in the NRM, that, you know, where the conditions are, you take the party position.
You see, I'm not in any way for a discipline. You did have your take. Let me have
that. These four guys are extremely popular. Their constituents love them. The other day, people in Zimbabwe were saying, hey, in Remiyaga for that. They were saying, we will vote back our man. Kampala Central is saying, we will vote back in Sereko. If they have said, get out of parliament, let them come.
Simon, that's besides the point.
That is
on
the ballot, so that you can show the NRM
that
you are not only popular, but you are independent and you are willing to take them on by the horns and you beat them hands down, so that we have a decisive winner. But this crying over
that's beside the point, Simon. The crunch of the matter. Here is the crunch of the matter, Simon.
You appeal to court rules out of your favor. You castigate judges for being cadre judges. They rule in your favor. You shut up. I mean, this gymnastics must stop.
They're still going to appeal.
Guys, look. I think we are totally and grossly missing the point here. If we are saying, look, you belong to a party and that's a good thing. Yeah, I'm not in any way condoning indiscipline. I think there's got to be some orderliness and some kind of discipline. But you see, at the end of the day, if I, do not agree with one or two things, I should be able to espouse that, to bring that out. If you're saying, when we expel you from our party, we are throwing you out of parliament, we are sending a message to all these others. You've got to be very careful, because many of these MPs, for example, the president goes campaigns for them. It's like me, I con, like young people say, a girl for you, I bring her to you on your wedding day. I have ultimate control. That is the bad precedent.
If you condone indiscipline, then you must be able to condone. If you condone indiscipline, then you will have to condemn the repercussions of indiscipline. If you say indiscipline is bad, then people must.
And by the way, I hope you do not in any way get me wrong. I don't in any way presume to say that all that these guys have always done is good. Sometimes I find some of their actions out of order and that kind of thing. But I think we need to allow multi-party politics to play out. But independence needs to come out. If we are saying you say this, we throw you out and that kind of thing.
They have.
I assure you, we are going to have shivers down every member of parliament's spine.
The argument is there is always a forum for you to exercise your independence.
No doubt about that.
There are caucuses, there is also things. But the moment you get out there in the public fora, the party law is clear. You must toe the party line and have what we call unison, and you take full responsibility.
But you see, some of these actually, their issues, their challenges began within.
So you know what I suggest, gentlemen. Let's do this. I want us to call. I want us to call Nsereko here and his crew, and they tell us why they are crying foul.
But then me, I'm not even so concerned about this particular.
I will personally work on this and bring Nsereko here.
Good luck, count me out. Getting more into the Daily Monitor. There is a case playing out in the courts of law with regard to corruption at the Uganda Development Bank, where a former 36-year-old female chief executive is now being pinned for having negotiated in one or another some top positions at this bank. I mean, how worse can it get that a Uganda Development Bank, perhaps the only bank that is still left in the hands of Uganda, is playing such ball game with regard to very serious monies that should otherwise be catapulting this country out of.
I tell you, all that we have done about corruption is talk, and so people out there, even
and
those that
where are we talk? Do you wait when
and that's the next segment
of this show when you are going to hear talk about anti-homosexuality?
So until the rubber meets the road, until we roll up our sleeves and do something about it, I'm not personally shocked. Each time I open the paper,
what should we do? Undress corrupt people? I mean, I find this a travesty. Like I argued yesterday. You undress people because you suspect they are indecently dressed, because all dressing indecently is such a huge crime.
No, that is wrong.
Corruption
is even wrong. Undressing these people is wrong.
Corruption is wrong. What should we do to the corrupt people?
What should we do to the corrupt people?
Apart from talking about
for starters, let's begin to apprehend them. You see, but some of these people that are suspected all over, because you see, my challenge is, unlike many Ugandans, monies are lost, and at the end of the day, no one is implicated. Apparently, money just grew wings and it flew. For goodness sake, that is wrong.
Tomorrow, for the most part of the Daily Monitor, we'll be reviewing the successes and or failures of those of you who sat for your Senior 4 and Leavers examinations, because the results, yes, are expected today. This time around, we haven't had issues with computers at UNEB, so your results are as intact as they should be. So brace yourself, start getting the shivers now, for in a number of hours, you who are watching us in the comforts of your TV, enjoying your long vacation, tears could turn to joy.
Or the other way around.
I don't want to look into that direction. Picture of the day in the Daily Monitor is an interesting picture of commandos in inverted commas taking over Kayunga streets. These are guys dressed up in traditional Ganda backcloth and looking all like ninjas, and there's about 30 of them standing onto one picture. Is this the love for culture, the love for king, the love for what, or the idleness of mind and body?
Well, it probably could be a little bit of both. They are showing their love for the Kabaka, but some people think these are hoodlums. As long as they don't cause confusion and so much of a mess, let them live their lives.
Well, you have been grappling with having an understaffed bench. Well, there we are. The House, that's Parliament of Uganda, has approved 6 more judges. So you criminals, there is no point for running away. Or those of you are seeking redress from the courts of law, there is plenty of adjudicators now getting to the bench, perhaps more than you could ever bargain for. There is an interesting letter, an op-ed coming in from Professor Vanessius Baryamreba. You remember him, the former Chancellor of Makerere University and now Chancellor of his own university, Utamu. He says there is a solution to Makerere's financial woes. What are those solutions? Was he there long enough to implement them? Well, he speaks out in the Daily Monitor. Your usual opinion and columnists coming in, Nicholas Sengo, as usual with his tongue-in-cheek sayings, rebel MPs will either vote for Besigye or Ruranga. Whatever that means, get yourself a copy of the Daily Monitor.
I don't know what that means.
You know Nicholas Sengo, but he says one thing, but you have to read very deep into it. No, he means the same thing, but you really need to read very deep into it. There's plenty of stories coming in from the central and western regions of this country. And yes, national IDs to help government serve citizens first.
Let's just have them before you tell us what they are going to do.
Well, why shouldn't you first know what they're going to do before you have them?
Give us, we have heard all that talk, and now they're telling us they're going to help us cross over to, Kenya and all these other countries. Can we have them first?
What's up? Facebook, Marge, you know the price list? 19 billion USA. And in the Daily Monitor's technology pages, they are telling you what Facebook's latest buy means. Will you be able to use that free messaging app on your phone called WhatsApp, or will you now be facing a more adverse effect where you
one of the things that I liked about this whole merger is that I think Facebook is going to buy out some of the employees of WhatsApp, and they are going to pay them 350 million to just say and leave the job. I was like, I wish I worked for WhatsApp and I'm paid 350 a month.
No, don't worry. Position NTV in such a manner that Facebook buys it and then you're paid the same.
Hallelujah, hallelujah.
The Prosper magazine is inside the Daily Monitor. The Prosper magazine is in there. Get to know how you can have your wealth intact, created, maintained, and of course sustained. And for you, the young ones, kindly implore mommy or daddy to get you a copy of the Daily Monitor, because your favorite pull-out Rainbow magazine is therein, and so there is interesting stories on very many incidents, especially the headline story for many of you Kampala kids who have no idea that there are kids just like you who go to school barefoot.
I'm sorry to divert you, but a couple of comments, and I know we're going to wrap this up very soon. Ziwa Herbert on Facebook saying it's time we pressure government to sign more valuable bills like the anti-smoking bill.
Does that Ziwa understand how much tobacco contributes to the economy of this country? Let him get a life.
Yeah, and do you understand how much havoc it is creating? I think we just
what havoc are you talking about? I mean, this whole thing of tobacco kills. What doesn't kill?
Africano Arenito saying,
is it chips and chicken that don't kill?
It's yesterday that I proved that His Excellency President Museveni is a wise man, and I have decided to vote for him.
We have millions of Ugandan farmers earning off tobacco on this anti-tobacco bill. That one I will declare. I am not a smoker per se, but I support the industry. Just like, yes, I do not indulge in very many things which contribute to the wealth of this country, but I would want them to be.
Yeah, but of course, can we, for example, of course, they've always had these fine prints and so on. Can we have those magnified? Can people actually get to know the dangers about this? As you sell it out to them, let them know the whole truth.
Yes, then you continue down the line and say ban KFC, because KFC equally kills as much as tobacco does.
Let them people know. Let them people know what the ramifications are.
You want to tell me
well, let's not take it for granted. If I'm selling you something, I need to tell you everything here.
Joel, let's not play down.
But we don't have.
Let's play down here. Do you ever see any signpost on a Mercedes-Benz saying that driving kills? or cars kill? Don't cars kill every day here? Don't we travel in cars going to bury for a bag of
Yeah, that's literally about every car. But you see, what we are saying here is that if you're going to sell this packet of cigarette, you have some very good print there, so that people actually are a lot more conscious. They know what they're doing themselves.
But
let's magnify it.
Brian, do you know anyone who smokes and does not know the adverse effects of smoking?
Of course they do. Of course they do. But you see, repetition. The more you hear something, eventually you get it.
We have been talking about condom use. Does that stop you from indulging without condoms? I mean,
well, of course there will be some obstinate fellows, there will be some very big heads, but what we are saying is, can we keep doing it? When for example, we are sent to laws and say, okay,
let
this
me
is criminal,
get
not
down
steal.
to some more interesting news, as opposed to people who want to cut the very hand that feeds them. You have no idea how much the tobacco industry contributes to the economy of this country for you to advocate.
Yeah, just like we have no idea how much aid has been very helpful to this, our good country. Now we are telling them,
just 1 trillion shillings.
Keep it.
Just 1 trillion.
I must say that I have a relation with some of the works at BAT.
I know.
It's good. You're coming out clean and declaring result against Olympiacos. This will come in as some interesting news for you, the football fans, and of course for the likes of Molondo, who not only support Arsenal, but their preoccupation is seeing gloom and doom for Manchester United.
Now we'll have details of this with Isma later in the sports update. But I think Manchester is going to sing tonight.
Going to sing?
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to the end of our press review this morning, as we get down to sink into some more interesting discussions here morning at NTV. The big story is up next, and yes, it is going to be big this morning.
Every idea we have begins with you. The way you connect.
Good morning.
How you browse. How you share. And how you interact with the world around you.
Your relationship with your God is the most important thing.
Have a company of people who have what in your mind. How do you want people to think, feel, and act after your talk? In other words, what's your objective?
You inspire everything. Because in the end, innovation doesn't really matter unless it does something that really matters to you. And we are HTC.
I'm gonna blow your mind and I'm gonna twist your taste buds. The flavors are already coming together. I can feel them. Very lovely, very appetizing, very powerful. Remember, the way you see it, the way you like it, is the way you get it from my kitchen to your kitchen.
I was going to my hall, someone came from my back and was
how I
went to the nursery and I asked why is it that our father is negative and for us we are positive?
Every time I find a story of assault of one person to another, I get disturbed.
Mwayombye ekiro lwaleeta suzeewo ne bakwokeza nazeepoza kimu nti mujja wange yanjokeza
kino ekyafa kino kyali kyakulira muno mu lubuto.
The Irene I know just loves music and loves to sing. I've never seen her even smoke a cigarette.
The days of legal trade in slaves are history, following its abolition in the 1800s.
They tie you like this. That's when I started getting past.
Everybody has a story, but yours will only become our story when you share it.
A wife who you got through the office will be very insecure about you working in another place.
Always hunt up, don't hunt down.
You mean what? Go after your superior?
How dare you suggest that when a woman is aggressed against,
We should look at the person who's been aggressed against.
Let the couple be. Let them sort out their issues. When they need you, then you'll come in.
Prostitution is being given a new brand.
All I know is that I connect people.
Some call it skinny dipping, others call it chitwe.
If it's a principle for you, then the cookie should not hold you hostage.
Let's not choose to open our zips and do whatever our urge is, because I don't think that an urge is stronger than your will to say no.
People attach a lot of questions, shame to HIV.
I do not believe that when you wear a short dress, you should be a rep.
Marrying a wife is like having assured sex.
Anytime you come, you must have.
Yes.
You raise a population that has no clue how to be men.
Can you bring out a quality family?
I don't get married for my family.
Men, every Wednesday only on NTV. Coming soon on NTV.
Many generations ago, the warrior Apoena from the Karaway tribe fell in love with young Antonia. When they returned to the Araguaia River with the young white girl carrying their child, they awoke Iaru's hatred. Raised away from the curse, Solano Rangel, the last descendant of Antonia and Apoena, returns to uncover his roots, but he couldn't resist Estella's charm. But she keeps a secret in the past.
Estella.
Her real name is Estrella Karaway, and her destiny is to fulfill the curse. Destiny River.
Coming soon on NTV. You're watching Morning at NTV.
Yes, you're still watching Morning at NTV. We now return to the Kampala Serena rooftop with Simon and the big story.
Archbishop Desmond Tutu has said that this law is reminiscent of the Nazi and apartheid regimes to legislate against love. The Amnesty International has called this law a horrific expansion of state-sanctioned homophobia. What are we talking about this morning on the big story? It's the anti-homosexuality law as signed yesterday. How much is it going to have with regard to effect on Uganda on the whole, but also the traditional heterosexual family and the morals of this country? To discuss this very emotive issue on what I call the SMS of TV. We are short, punchy with only 160 characters, but we put across the message. Pastor Solomon Male and Pastor Martin Semper, the usual suspects as I would call them, or in this debate of homosexuality. I'll start with you, Male.
Yeah.
You're against this bill. Why have you been bought? Have you been given something? Are you now representing Ban Ki-moon or President Barack Obama, as Pastor Semper alleged when he walked onto this dice?
It is a populist bill. It is opportunistic. It is based on myopicism, and it was premised on lies. One, these people claim that there was no law to protect our children, and that is why they rallied every Ugandan for the bill. In 2007, His Excellency Yoweri Museveni signed this act into Parliament. This is the Penal Code. Semper, can you keep quiet?
Don't worry, I will handle him. Don't worry.
The Penal Code Amendment Act 2007, His Excellency assented to it, and this is his signature. It mandates death for pedophile offenders, whether heterosexual or homosexual. What these people have come up with is an anti-homosexuality bill, which gets homosexuals out of this act of death. And now the maximum sentence to life in prison.
Is life in jail. I mean, it's an interesting perspective, and look at this law, that the anti-homosexuality law is in fact a slap on the wrist to homosexual.
So Male wants them killed.
Pastor Male. Now you, Pastor Semper, what are you saying? For him, he wants them dead. You?
No, not wanting them dead. Why should we kill heterosexual offenders? And yet we cannot kill homosexual offenders. And yet people say,
now you, Semper, you were the day monitor this morning putting up some kind of you know, bonanza, dancing and demonstrating and showing love to President Museveni.
That is populism.
For giving you such a wonderful bill. Why do you say that this bill is not a slap on the wrist as Pastor Malay claims?
You know, Uganda has joined the group of superpower nations such as Russia, Nigeria, in taking Saudi Arabia, in taking a strong stand against sodomy. I am of this morning calling Margaret Ziwa so that we can take this bill to the Speaker of the East African Parliament, Honorable, to take this bill to the East African community. And then after that, we want to call the African Union, because we want to make sure we want to make sure that
let him land and hit the point.
Yes,
then I get
so that we want to take this bill of protecting Africa's family from the onslaught.
Can I raise another fire? Because
homosexuality from the Western powers. At the root of it is the question. The European says it's a vice. The Africa says it's a vice. Obama says it's a right. So there is a showdown. So,
well, we have now come to lock horns. We've signed the bill. It's now into law. The question everyone is asking, and Pastor Malay has raised it here, isn't this law a slap on the wrist for especially you who have been calling for the admonishing of homosexual offenders?
For stringent measures. And there is another issue.
I don't want to argue. Malay is misguided.
No, but let me tell you.
Malay is confused. Malay, and I don't want to spend time on him. Let me tell you.
Let's not call him
the bigger issue. Whenever you are moving
forward, if the law against pedophilia is that they must die.
They must die.
Why should homosexuals stay alive and we call that a fair law?
No, we have changed.
This
we
is
were in a meeting. Let me tell you, I was with Malay at UJCC. When Uganda joined Christian Center, when you are beginning this, Malay is the one who argued to remove the death penalty from the bill.
I never.
Now he's here defying it.
Now,
at Uganda joined Christian Council, you are the one who said remove the death penalty.
You the Baganda.
No, Malay, it is you who said remove the death penalty.
Listen.
You a liar.
Shall I have some
Why have
here?
I then held to
Malay and Sempa?
Have they given you
the Baganda argue that
you are with homosexuals now?
We are not going to make allegations here, Pastor Sempa. In fact, unless you also want me to say that from the way you argue against homosexuality, one wouldn't be wrong psychologically to actually think that you could be a homosexual.
But there are people who like it, which means that George Bush is a terrorist, which means that those fighting HIV are HIVists, which means that those who are fighting racism are racists.
Perhaps.
Wrong and illogical.
Why don't we say that so far it is a right step in the right direction and the clamor can be on tightening the nuts and bolts as opposed to rubbishing the entire bill as signed?
Okay, let me make another statement. Section 145 of the Penal Code, sex against the order of nature, the sentence is life in jail. Whether it is heterosexual, whether it is a man doing it to a woman, or it is a woman doing it with a fellow woman, or a man doing it with a fellow.
It is time to thank the president.
Under this law, which people are celebrating about, it defines a homosexual as someone who engages in same-sex sexual activity, and homosexuality as engagement in same-sexual sexual activity.
Actually,
it excludes
disappointing.
Can we have some? Back to the point. Be sober.
SMS.
You claim you have a PhD, but then you do not reason.
Let's not accuse each other of what we are guilty of.
Now, here, I'm making a point. The bill, the law that has been assented to by His Excellency the President, defines homosexuality as engagement in
that has already
activity.
Been made. That point has been made.
It means that if a man sodomizes his wife under this law, it's not an offense.
What is sodomizing a wife? If you're a man and you sodomize a woman, is there something called sodomizing someone?
Getting into the anus.
Anal sex, not sodomy for that matter.
No.
Now, let me ask you.
What is sodomy about? It's penetrating the anus.
Let's look at this law and its implication. You, Pastor Malay, have scored a major victory, so to speak. Pastor Sempa, you have scored a major victory. You have been clamoring
for this.
But I was
the first to get homosexuality out, so that
first or second or third doesn't matter.
I raised the issue of homosexuality. I came up with the victims.
All right, you have a Nobel. Listen. Now, if it's an issue of egos and who started what, then that's not the debate we're having this morning. Now, I am asking you, Pastor Sempa, you have scored this major victory. Do you have an idea of the ramification of this bill unto the people of Uganda? You have had countries saying relations that were previously valued are going to be dented so much so that this week, in fact, the US is going to rethink its development cooperation with Uganda. Does that bother you?
Yes and no. First of all, America gives aid to Uganda to treat people with HIV/AIDS, mosquito nets, ARVs. But you know what? On the other side, promoting sodomy, research shows that those who practice homosexuality are 10 times more likely to carry HIV. A research by the Lancet magazine in 2009 showed that men in sub-Saharan Africa who practice same-sexual activity are 10 times more likely. So to encourage homosexuality is going... Excuse me, no, I want you to take this. If somebody is giving you treatment here, and he owns the pharmaceutical here, and is encouraging a lifestyle of more HIV, you want to question their motives. Are they really wanting to treat you, or is it more HIV is equal more money for the drugs?
The gay lobby is an extremely powerful lobby, and let's not mince our words about it. Doesn't it bother you that you, Pastor Sempa, are now the postcard of this anti-homosexuality stance in Uganda, together with MPs like Bahati, and therefore you find it difficult to enjoy the freedom of roam and movement in places like New York, London, Berlin, and other places? Did that bother you?
No, it doesn't. I want to let you know, we don't fight battles because the enemy is weak. We fight battles because it's right. That's why we fought against apartheid. But you see, you have idiots like Desmond Tutu who have decided to say an idiot, and I'll say it again. Desmond Tutu is a quack. Every time we Africans see Desmond Tutu preaching to us that he will not go to heaven if there are no homos in heaven, we are distressed.
Let me get down to Pastor Malay here. Doesn't it also against homosexuality?
Against homosexuality.
A bill is put before Parliament. It is assented into law, and now you are the same Malay that is saying that this bill is actually a smokescreen. It's a slap on the wrist.
You see, if we had the opportunity to kill pedophile offenders under the Penal Code Section 129, and now this law comes up and says, no, we can kill others, heterosexuals, but we cannot kill homosexuals. Then to me it bothers me. Secondly, the law, Section 145 of the Penal Code, was also covering women against homosexuality. And now they define homosexuality to exclude sodomy between a man and a woman, which means that a woman like Mbabazi, who was sodomized by Pakistanis, cannot get redress.
So going forward, what is your clamor?
Now, my argument has always been that they are victims, and these victims cannot get justice. Why can't they get justice? Because the police... There is
already some justice going to be done here with this law.
But it is the same stinking rotten police.
The same stinking rotten police is from the same society where you come from.
No,
you also say same stinking rotten pastors.
Yes,
would you like that kind
of course. I've come out against pastors sodomizing boys. I even referred some to you. Martin and I are convicts, just because the system chose to frame us. That when we decided to deal with Pastor Kayanja's sodomy victims.
Both of you here, like I said, this is the SMS of TV. You either have it right or you don't have it at all in the first punch. You own a church. You have a community of believers before
at Makerere University.
At Makerere University.
Yes.
What are you going to tell them when you stand at the pulpit at the next gathering as regard to homosexuality? Will you say, kudos, the battle is won, we have a law, any form of indecent assault on you, homosexuality comes, you come down to the judicial system or go to the police?
Oh no, I want us to be clear on this.
Do you trust the police?
Let's not get into whether we trust or we don't trust the police. No one trusts pastors.
I want to let every homosexual out there know that we are setting up rehabilitation center. Those whose rectums have been ruptured.
Can we use more sober language? People are having breakfast
I'm sorry, those whose behinds has been ruptured.
Let's say those who have been injured.
You need to have a heart for the victims.
We want to put up rehabilitation centers.
When you both speak at the same time, you lose the point to the people that are watching us. We need to put our point across in a more sober way.
I think this is the problem. We want to set up rehabilitation centers. You see, the church on our side, we preach grace, come and change. But the law enforcement, that's Kaihura, that is the government, the executive, they must be in the business of stifling this money. We have $48 million powering into Uganda this year to push homosexual agenda.
How you calculate that money and come up with that money?
We have movies at Sundance. Sundance just gave $1 million to do a Chiwani on Uganda. We have court cases at the ICC. I have 2 cases. I don't want you to miss this issue. But we also want to make policy changes in groups such as the Nation Media Group so that they stop fathering homosexuals under the guise of minorities, so that the Vision Media Group stops silencing the discussion. We need to open the debate. And for me, I've been calling since Andrew Mwenda began speaking against me. I kept saying, please bring me your own. I'm ready, Zabike. You see, I don't want to fight Malay. Bring Obama, bring the American ambassador, bring the United. No, leave Kai. Those are small things. Bring the American ambassador. Bring Ban Ki-moon. Those are the ones that
this is an English. This is an English. Can we stop this exaggerated sense of self-worth amongst ourselves?
No, and we have T-shirts. I have T-shirts.
I'm not going to allow exhibitionism here. That's why I make my point across. Malay,
I have a T-shirt.
There's a point
I need you to understand one thing. That this passing of this bill has got a very, 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 very strong impact with regard to the way you conduct your business as a church. You have churches that believe in your school of thought that even are in the United States of America. What is the reaction from some of these friendly churches of yours? Are they calling this a slap on the wrist as well? Or they are saying, go fight more, you can clamor for more as long as you already have something in your armpit?
So Americans are sponsoring us.
Wait. They are sponsoring you, not me. I've never got any money from the West.
Okay.
I don't even have anyone. I ride on boda boda. I walk on foot. I use taxis.
So those of us who drive cars have gotten money from
No. There are pastors who are ever in America. But I'm a local pastor here. I'm always here. Although I have, of course,
now we are not going to start glorifying Presentry and local.
Now, let me make my point, okay? Now, this anti-homosexuality law, okay, reduces the sentence for pornography, which under the Pornography Act, which was passed the sentence is 10 years.
Are you
maximum
going to contest this law in the Are you going to law? Are you going to court?
No, I cannot.
So what are you going to do?
I know, of course, the homosexuals are already prepared for it because one, it breaches the Constitution. Article 21.
So what are you going to do?
And of course, Article 29 and Article 41. It even muzzles the media. You'll not be able to run stories before you get authority of court. Remember, if authority of court has to be sought, how many journalists would succeed getting through stories about powerful people?
And to that extent, are you saying that you, Malay,
the media,
are going to keep quiet and all you do is trot between one media house and another to say the same thing over and over?
To join homosexuals,
you see, I am asking the question. The problem is this, that when you oppose this law
with the homosexuals,
the same pass, their mentality says that the homosexuals have paid you. Yet, I would raise the same issue. If homosexuals have not paid the same and others, why did they have to reduce the sentences that are already in the penal code?
There is a debate with regard to human rights.
No.
Listen, Malay. There is an issue called human rights
on pornography.
And the death penalty. And the death penalty. Wait a minute.
Let me just show you this.
Wait a minute. The death penalty is one of those being discussed as regard whether it is within human rights.
Yes.
Are you saying that the death penalty should be put back?
This is the one for death penalty. Me, I'm against it.
Sempa, can you keep quiet?
Yes, the viewers know that
I am against the death penalty. Malay is insisting the law is bad because
we need to have a balanced law if we are dealing with pedophiles.
Supposing you
we need to have a balanced law when we deal with
Malay.
There is another
fair enough. Why don't you then, therefore, go to court or seek legal redress to have the penalty on pedophiles removed from the death roll? And say now pedophiles may also serve life as opposed to death. Because the issue of death is certainly an issue of human rights. And you are a pastor. You should be preaching love. You should be preaching tolerance. You should be preaching the preservation of life as opposed to the termination of life, no matter the sin.
But you see, the man who betrayed Jesus paid with his life.
And Jesus killed him?
No, it's not Jesus. Of course,
there was someone who was going to be lynched with stones, and Jesus showed up and said, "He who's never done it cast the first stone." Why do you preach one gospel selectively?
Let me make a point.
Simon,
okay, when it comes to pornography, wait.
I'll get to that.
He's a coward.
Let me bring to you.
I'll get to you.
We are not in US. We are not. We are here. Same pass. Stop calling me boda.
That's what Samar does.
Yes. So talk about
Malay. Summarize it now. This
okay now.
You have enough platform in your churches. You can't abuse yourselves from there. Not here.
Here we are. On the 19th of December, they pass a sentence against pornography. And if it is for adults, maximum is 10 years custodial. If it is for children, maximum is 15 years custodial. When it comes to the anti-homosexuality law, this custodial sentence for pornography is a mere between 5 and 7 years.
Point made.
From
slap on the wrist. In other words, Pastor Malay is saying that is a slap on the wrist. He wants it more tighter. He wants you to die should you be convicted of homosexuality. Now let me look at
you. But you see the rhetoric is we didn't have the laws we have. We are weak.
I will invite you again to make yours. Now, Sempan.
Yes.
The stuff that you are putting across Sekesa, the ICC, bring Obama, bring me down Ban Ki-moon. This is stuff of self-aggrandization that even for the most part to the viewers may border on comedy.
It is actually populism.
Seriously, can we take you with regard to all these cases? I am asking the questions. To what extent can we take you seriously, Pastor Sempa, with regard to these cases, the guys you want to fight?
You know, when Hitler came for the Jews, some people didn't believe. I want to tell you, are you aware of hate crimes legislation in European Union that has classified that the Bible cannot be read in Canada, in United States, and even Europe? Or you are not aware?
Pastor Sempa, I have done 5 years at the European Union. I know it perhaps more.
Very good. So perhaps we must
and let
us put off the cloak of garments.
I am asking you, how seriously can we take
No.
Forget about the rhetoric, sounding nice, having the
like Mandela. This is what they said to Mandela. This is what they said to Mandela.
Mandela, you walk the talk.
No, I want to tell you, I have a case in Massachusetts against me. Framed. I have a case at the ICC, but there is a cover-up because media houses, including this very Nation Media Group, has a policy to promote sexual minorities or homosexuals. So cases like us will be ridiculed by you. Instead of weeping with us, instead of standing up for people like us, there is a shortness of covering us. And I'm asking, Simon,
you of all people are laughing at you, Sempa. People on TV are laughing at you.
When they're
you, Sempa, would never have been anything more than what you are if it wasn't for we, the media, for having made you in the last 10 years. How can you, of all people, Sempa, claim that the media has not done anything for you?
Isn't it true that the Nation Media Group has a policy to promote homosexuals? Isn't it true that the Nation Media Group has a quota of workers?
I have told you, and I put it to you. You are a simple
I want to put it to you that you are part of the cartel, and the anti-pornography and anti-homosexuality bills will begin to ban as NTV changes.
Daily morning, as we have an interesting duo of Pastor Martin Sempa and Solomon Malay. Solomon Malay's argument is this is a slap on the wrist.
I'm a
Pastor Sempa, on the other hand, is the usual himself.
He's a
maverick, suave, of course, populist, and to some extent,
resistance.
A guy that gives us wonderful ratings.
Resistance.
We'll be right back with my Simon.
Resistance.
Well, there we go. Simon says this wonderful big morning, the 25th day of February 2014. I told you it's going to be big. Now, after listening to these two wonderful pastors, one makes the simple conclusion that Christianity, for the most part, preaches tolerance, preaches the understanding that people could be different. But on the other hand, culture and the moral aptitudeness that we put onto ourselves may dictate otherwise. Bottom line is, we have a law in place. This law for some could be seen as a slap on the wrist. For the others, it could be the long-awaited magic bullet that is going to catapult Uganda outside of the doldrums of immorality that we've been dealing with. Now that we have this law put aside and now operational, can we get down to do some little more work? Can we begin to be honest? Can we stop this corruption? Can we stop this pluralism? Can we stop the brigandage? Can we be the uprightly moral people that we have claimed to always be if it wasn't for the issue of homosexuality? Now we have homosexuality going to be dealt with severely by a law. Let's see whether or else Uganda is going to become a communion of saints now that we have homosexuals locked away. That Simon says this morning, the 25th day of February 2014. Have a wonderful morning. Morning at NTV continues.
This is your T-shirt. Next time you
ku olwo lwennyini olwokutaano bwe bamutta.
As innocent as I was, that the police could have been involved in this. He authorizes for Benzi one's arrest, the driver, and my husband's ex-partner. I think they found dollars in his pocket.
The average age of the entire national team is under 18.
The primary role of Team Uganda is to remain to Division 2.
Probably that's the only thing that can make one or two rugby fans smile, that the Cubs are doing well.
The players haven't put on they haven't wore the game faces. They're not the animals we saw last season, because Ferguson had the same group of players and he did deliver the Holy Grail, which is the title.
Over the years, my NSSF has had some good days and some difficult ones. But through it all, they have persevered to achieve some major milestones. They have given me better tools to take control of my future. Doing better is what they stand for. They made a promise to me and they are keeping it. My NSSF listens when I speak. I feel more connected to my NSSF because they put me first, and I'm confident I will be paid all of my savings. I also know my savings are secure and are being invested in the best way possible, which means that I get the best interest on my savings to turn my dreams and ambitions into reality. And I don't mean to brag, but my NSSF is pioneering some of the greatest ideas our nation has ever seen. But what makes me really proud is that my NSSF is supporting those making a difference in my community. So how is this important to me? Simple. It's the comfort of knowing my NSSF is doing better for me today than ever before to give me a better future.
NSSF. A better future.
I'm gonna blow your mind and I'm gonna twist your taste buds. The flavors are already coming together. I can feel them. Very lovely, very appetizing, very healthy. Remember, the way you see it, the way you like it, is the way you get it, from my kitchen to your kitchen.
I was going to my hall, someone came from my back and was
how tugenda okwebaka ekiro yanga mwami omanyi webakeko nange omulundi gw'ogusembayo.
I went to the nursery and I asked why is it that our father is negative and for us we are positive?
Every time I find a story of assault of one person to another, I get disturbed.
Mwayombye ekiro lwaleeta suzeewo lwe bakwokezza. Nazeepoza kimu nti mujja wange yanjokezza.
Kino ekyafa kino kyali kyakulira muno mu lubuto.
The Irene I know just loves music and loves to sing. I've never seen her even smoke a cigarette.
The days of legal trade in slaves are history, following its abolition in the 1800s.
They tie you like this. That's when I started getting past.
Everybody has a story, but yours will only become our story when you share it.
You don't have any way to prove it, darling.
Andre Gurgel oversaw all the steps of my designs.
You mean you spent the very last of the money I had in this country? Now how am I supposed to get myself out of the mess you put me in, you imbecile?
Can't imagine what else you would possibly have to say to me about Leonardo.
No, I wanted to talk to you about Armando.
Well, I'm sure they truly care for each other. It's easy for anyone to see that. And besides, they've been together for a very long time now.
Want to have lunch?
I do, but I need to wake up first.
It's too early to think about lunch. I didn't even have breakfast yet.
Listen to me, Horatio Cortez. And you learn that no man will ever dump me.
You're watching Morning at NTV.
A very good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. This morning's big story was indeed big, and we had Pastor Martin Semper and Pastor Malay, some of the forefronters of the anti-gay bill. But this morning, bringing on two perspectives. Pastor Malay saying he does not support the gay bill because it seems, one, to be more lenient to homosexuals, to muzzle the media, but also some of this bill is likely to be contested in court. Pastor Semper, on the other hand, celebrating what the president has done. Your comments are so many on our Facebook page and Twitter, and I just want to quickly go through them. And some of you have been tweeting at Martin Semper. You can continue to do that. He will answer your questions. At Martin Semper is already on his feet, not happy with Pastor Malay. And when we go to Facebook, where most of your comments, we put up a picture of the two in a debate. And John Kansim is saying, to be sincere today, I don't understand why Pastor Malay is very unappreciative. And Nkore John saying, Simon is doing a lot to have these guys go at it. Okay, well, he's the interviewer. He's supposed to do that, ask them questions. And Nkore John still says, Simon was about to beat up Pastor Semper on the media. And that was following Pastor Semper saying that the media did something that he didn't like. We have Johnson Kansime, who says, Malay is not confused, but he's just not appreciative. He has even failed to express himself and not known for that. And he's not known for that because so far he has not made a clear point. Well, you can reach most of these two gentlemen on the social media platforms and continue the discussion. But for us, it's going to go on our Facebook page, Morning at NTV. And of course, you can tweet us at Morning at NTV. Feel free to tag Kasiate, at MBGold2, at Mebkeb to continue these discussions. Now, of course, earlier we talked about how some of us have misunderstood the anti-pornography bill, and people are undressing women in the old taxi park. That picture is on the screen in a couple of seconds, and showing you how some people have taken this, and all of us have labeled it hooligan, and how people are being undressed. In Iganga, about 6 women were undressed. 2 boys were also undressed for having sagging pants. And that's how some of us are interpreting. Judith Nabakoba coming out strongly and saying this is against the law. It's also criminal, and the law has actually is not yet effective. So please note that also. Some people on social media who are attacking us for not being clear on that. I hope that you know that at this point we are very clear, and no one condones the behavior of people who are undressing women. If you're heading out of your home, take a look at today's traffic report. It's exactly 12 minutes after 8 o'clock, and this morning's traffic, if we can get a shot of Chintu Road here at the Serena, and I think one of the ministers just passing by, but a bullion van also from Sarasin. But if you look at the traffic, very steady, and the traffic officers are doing their job. That's very good. Macarena has already set up his pancakes. If you're passing via the Crested Towers or Parliament, It is safe. The traffic is normal. Now let's take a look at some of the photos that you have sent us. And remember, you can be a traffic reporter. All you have to do is WhatsApp the image wherever you are. 047 16730. That is 047 16730. We have Fairway, and Amor is sending us a picture from Fairway. You can see those pictures there, and please, if you're stuck wherever you are, feel free to be a traffic reporter. Today someone is born. It's a happy birthday to a very good friend of mine, Joel of Kwela. Let's head over to Mabel at the NTV studios to tell us more about the people that are born today. Good morning.
Happy birthday to you,
Indeed, today someone was born and we would like to celebrate with you. We celebrate today with Angela Navafu, who is a psychology student. Happy birthday, Angela. We also celebrate with Tom Kayongo, who works at RAM Internet Cafe, and he studied at Makere. We wonder how you're going to celebrate your birthday today, Tom. And obviously Joe Kahirimbanyi, who is the lead vocalist with Kwela. I think he actually founded the band. He studied at the Africa Institute of Music. He lives here in Kampala, and yes, the band full of amazingly talented young people. Happy birthday to you, Joe, and we hope for some cake. Now, moving on to the Facebook page. If you have not already liked our Facebook page, I do not know what you're waiting for. We have 7,353 likes. Now, to get to some of your messages, just to show you that we're really up to date, this was one of the hottest moments in the big story. Very interesting there. And some of your comments here. Edson says, Pastor Solomon, whose kingdom do you serve? You must be born again for God's sake. David says, thanks for the show, and I support Pastor Sempa. It was interesting to have two pastors with two different views. Robert says, the show is a good innovation but poorly moderated. Too much arguments other than articulation of one's point. Simon, please style up. And then someone says, can we have order in the discussions, please? We want to understand. Museveni, this one, Echisanja. Anyway, I won't read that one. Dorina Kankwansa says, those guys on NTV, they want Simon, I think, to style up. Jimmy says, I think that message was sent twice. Simon, the debate was very hot. Call them next time. Leonard here says, get me a t-shirt, please. We have got to unite against Vice. Mr. Sempa, Pastor Sempa actually had a t-shirt, a yellow t-shirt. I thought that was interesting. Africans against sodomy. Mukama says, today Simon has gotten real talkers. Ha ha ha. I think Simon should be having a headache. Bloody welcome to morning at NTV Reloaded. Thank you so much here. Weddy says, I wonder, people who support homosexual behavior and they hate theft, they hate theft behavior because they look alike. These are behaviors we adopt and learn, and we pass on, and we pass them to be genetical. Very disappointing, I imagine. And then moving on to some other of your messages here. Someone says, people, let's learn to appreciate President Museveni. Museveni did it. He deserves credit, and Obama should go somewhere. We now return to Brian at the rooftop for Everyday Life.
Every idea we have begins with you. The way you connect, how you browse, how you share, and how you interact with the world around you. Down to the last detail, you inspire everything. Because in the end, innovation doesn't really matter unless it does something that really matters to you. And we are HTC.
What a hot exchange this morning between Pastor Sempa and Pastor Male. And of course, it still goes on our social media sites. You can use your HTC One or your HTC Desire 300 to do that. Everyday Life powered by HTC, quietly brilliant. And I just want to quickly go through some of the features of this phone, and some of you have been telling us, but I took this phone, especially Elsie Muha, I took the phone, but I don't know how to use it. All right. And this phone weighs 120 grams. I don't know. Yeah, that's our unit, but it's 120 grams. I want to quickly go to some of the things that most of us love. Camera. It has a 5 megapixel camera with autofocus and the 2.8 aperture and 34 millimeters lens, and it has a VGA recording, video recording. Can you imagine that? And also a reversal camera. And the battery life, you can remove the battery actually and charge it somewhere else, but it goes up to 11 hours if you're on 3G internet. Wow. And up to 625 hours for standby battery. Okay, so you can actually go up to, you can have a battery of like 15 and it goes up to 600. That's a powerful phone. Multimedia, there are audio supported formats. Playback is in all formats of AAC, AMR, OGG, M4A, MP3, WAV, of course, for recording. And some of us have done amazing videos using this phone, and of course you can also convert it to MP4. Now you want to take a look at this phone, the HTC Desire 300. Elsie Muha won that phone, and 4 other people also took those phones. We couldn't bring them yesterday because they are from Mbale, quite far from here. Mbale, Ruwero, the other one was in Gulu, but those that were in Kampala came and picked their phones. This week's questions are: question number 1, what time does Fit and Fab air? Question number 2, who is the host of the big story? Question number 3, give any 4 topics that Everyday Life has discussed in the past 2 weeks. And question number 4, name any 3 models of the HTC phones. And you can SMS those answers in the correct order they are to 6565. Good luck. Coming up, Everyday Life.
Every idea we have begins with you. The way you connect, how you browse, how you share, and how you interact with the world around you. Down to the last detail, you inspire everything. Because in the end, innovation doesn't really matter unless it does something that really matters to you. And we are HTC.
Everyday Life is brought to you by...
And we are HTC.
Welcome to Everyday Life, proudly powered by HTC, quietly brilliant. And I'm holding a beautiful HTC phone. Go to Forest Mall and at the HTC branch and take a look at some of the amazing offers they have for you. You can be the new owner of an HTC. This morning of Everyday Life, some of you have been asking us, Brian, how can someone sit properly? And we deduced it to sitting postures. And this morning we have Immaculate Birungi with us. Good morning, Immaculate.
Morning, Brian.
Tell us a little bit about what you do. Yes, the profile is there. It's so long, but in summary.
Okay. As you mentioned, my name is Immaculate Birungi. I'm an entrepreneur by passion. Former banker. What happened? Like I said, passion. I followed my passion into entrepreneurship.
Right.
And I'm the co-owner of a spa called Pampazone Health and Beauty Spa in Kamocha, just off Tafnell Drive. And I've been doing that for the last 6 years.
Wow.
I can never exchange it for employment.
And people come and, you know, because Ugandans will say, when I sleep, I'll be fine. No need for massage.
Oh, no. Massage is so therapeutic. That's why they call it massage therapy. It's very therapeutic, and it's very, very connected to the topic of today, actually.
Right.
Yes, but we do, it's a unisex spa. Many Ugandans, the idea of a spa is very new to Uganda. So many people ask, what does a spa mean?
Yes.
A spa is basically a place where you go and get relax, rejuvenate yourself, relieve the stress with us, basically. So you come for a massage, perhaps, come for a facial to beautify yourself and, you know, look after your skin, Come do your hair, come do your nails. Recent now we have what we call a mud wrap, which helps in detoxifying the body of all the toxins. You know, we've come from the Christmas season where guys have been stuffing themselves with all manner of food and junk and everything.
We ate a lot, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so a mud wrap would be something you'd like to consider to help you to, you know, just release those toxins out of your body.
Right.
And then also very new to us is what we call a cellulite wrap. Yeah, you know, women have the issue of cellulites on our arms or thighs, on our bottoms. So we have what we call a cellulite wrap, a coffee cellulite wrap, cellulite. So it helps to reduce the appearance of cellulite on our thighs, on our arms, and on our bottoms as women.
I'll come and get a facial because I have never gotten a facial, and I'm quite, you know, people keep telling me it's very nice, and I want to do it. So I'll come and film myself getting.
And Ben, I'd like to put I want to put a disclaimer. Our massages are very professional.
Okay.
You know, recently, actually, NTV did a profile about massages in Uganda and how unprofessional they have become. I want to say that at Pampers Zone, ours are very, very professional, done by professional ladies.
Right.
Yeah, that's very important.
I'll give you an opportunity to do karango later.
Thank you.
Let's get into the gist of this matter. When it comes to sitting posture, and most people have been complaining about how some of us even sit on air when we're talking to our viewers. And of course, most of us do not understand this. So I'll first ask you a basic question. What is the definition of sitting posture, first?
Okay, the posture is basically alignment, how the body aligns itself to itself, rather. And it's not just about how we sit. There is also how we stand. That's important. How we sleep at night. Even those who do exercises, there's a right posture as you exercise, whether it is running on the treadmill at the gym, whether it's lifting weights, whether it's actually jogging, walking. All these things that we do every day, there's a correct posture for doing them. Right. Because what happens is that if you do not align your body in the correct way, then you're bound to get injuries. You're bound to get aches that you can't explain because some muscles you're not supposed to be working are actually working more than they should. Sometimes even causes illness. People get ill actually because of poor posture. So it's just not about how we sit. But in all the everyday life of everyday things that we do, you actually have a correct posture for them. Even how you cook in the kitchen, how you serve food, how you lift things, all this stuff. Oh yes, it's very, very important.
I want us to take us through some of the bad positions that we. I don't know if I'm sitting right now, but
not.
Not. So educate me. Let's just push this a little bit far and. What are some of those positions that we are most of the time that will cause us all the back aches that you've been talking about?
For example, most of us are office workers. We have 8 to 5 o'clock jobs. Many of us sit in front of a computer almost the whole day. One of the mistakes that we do is actually slouching over. You know, sometimes it's because of the seat that we have, sometimes it's because of the desk that we have. So it's very important that the desk that you're working on is actually at a 90 degrees angle to your stomach. Because then you don't have to stretch forward, neither do you have to try and bend over just so as to get comfortable. So that's very important as well. Some of us have very bad chairs at work which do not have proper back support. Many of them are straight rather than having actually a curve because our spine is not exactly straight. It's not like a board. It actually has a bit of a curve that's acceptable. Yeah. So most of the chairs that they make these days actually are straight, which causes a lot of back strain. Yeah.
But we are always told to sit straight, like this.
Absolutely, and that's correct.
Not like this.
That's correct. But the proper chairs, a proper office chair, should actually have a bit of a curve, so it supports the contour of the spine. It follows the contour of the spine. Not supposed to be straight up like that. You know, that's why you'll find people actually end up slouching forward. So one of the bad sitting positions is actually slouching forward. Another bad position of sitting is actually slouching in the chair like this.
This is very comfortable.
That's the problem.
This is very, very comfortable.
Especially at the end of the day, you've come home from a long day at work and you just want to fall in this sofa set.
I find this very comfortable. I do this.
Many of us do, and even I'm guilty of that after a very long day. However, again, that is also putting a strain on your back.
Right.
And with time, you'll start having the back aches and wondering, how come I'm having all these back aches? But it's just because of our bad sitting positions.
Right.
So those are the two common bad sitting positions that we have.
You talked about back aches, and are those some of the mild health hazards? Are there major things that would actually happen to you because you've been sitting badly or working out badly?
The back is everything, if you ask me. You've seen people who have had spinal injuries. They can barely do anything. Because of the spine, it has all these nerve endings that are attached to it or close to it. So any damage to the back can actually damage your mobility as a person, and that damages your life, let me say, completely. You can become an invalid. You can become paralyzed because of a back problem. So we cannot say it's minor. It's actually very, very major. And that's why, even especially for women, we are mothers, yeah? So we do a lot of running around. When we are pregnant, we have this load that we are carrying right in front of us. So having a strong back is very, very important. And therefore, we have to be careful that we actually look after our backs. And one of the way of doing that is ensuring that we have a proper posture, whether we are standing, whether we are sitting down, whether we are lifting anything, whether we're exercising. It's important to have a proper posture, whatever it is that you're doing. So the dangers of that is that when you get a backache, for example, a back strain, you'll find that you cannot sit up. You've had people who have had to lie down for a long time just because of a back injury. You've had people who have had to have surgery because of a back injury. So it is rather major that actually we ensure that we look after our back and our spine very, very carefully.
Right.
Yes.
There's always been a huge debate about cross-legging.
Yes.
Yeah? And especially for women.
Yes.
Help me understand, first of all, because also some women will wear very short dresses or short shorts and then cross-leg. Or some will actually just sit in a gallery and you see everything.
Terrible.
How do you master the art of cross-legging? When does it work? When does it not work?
I'll think about crossing legs is about etiquette at the end of the day. How you've been brought up. Manners, let me say. It's very fashionable to cross our legs like this. And it's a very relaxing, gesture. If you look, someone looks relaxed when they do that. But then you have to be conscious of what you're wearing, as a lady especially. And even, for example, you go for an interview, this is a sign of arrogance sometimes to the interviewers. It's like you're already got the job. So, exactly.
So you must not cross leg.
No, I would not advise you to cross your legs, because you're supposed to be in a position of, first of all, you're sitting upright. Therefore, the easiest thing you can do actually is cross your ankles. Yes, and
down.
then down, just cross your ankles. That shows one, that you're humble, but it also shows that you're also confident. This is overconfidence. It's absolutely overconfidence. And for ladies, if you're wearing something very short, be careful, because when you cross your legs like this, a lot of thigh is exposed at the bottom, or even at the top, a lot of thigh is exposed. So, and then depending on where you're sitting, it's safe. You're sitting at the front at a function, and you have a very short outfit. You're better off just crossing your legs onto the side and actually sitting up, because when you do sit up like this, then you first of all, you look regal. Yeah, I'll give you an example of the British royal family. If you've never seen the Queen ever crossing her legs in public, or even the late Lady Diana, or even the current princes, they rarely do that, because they are brought up to know that etiquette. The etiquette of sitting is that when you're sitting and you sit like a lady, and a lady just crosses her ankles. If you observe it with very many very public figures, they rarely cross their legs in public. They always cross the ankle, and it's a very comfortable position either way. So it's not like you end up forcing yourself doing it. It's actually very comfortable.
Right.
Yes.
Well, okay. I think today we are going to learn something, and maybe you'll also tell us about how to just sit on a stool.
Yes.
Because we use some of them on this show. But if you're just joining us, we're looking at sitting posture today, and I'm joined by Immaculate Birungi from Pampa Zone Spa in Kamocha, and she's a health and beauty counselor, an expert at that. And she's here telling us about how we can sit properly. Now, also remember that Everyday Life is powered by HTC. Quietly brilliant, and you can get an opportunity to win one of these beautiful phones. And this week's questions are: what time does Fit and Fab air? Question number 2: who is the host of the big story? Give any 4 topics Everyday Life has discussed in the past 2 weeks, and name any 3 models of the HTC phones. Send your answers to 6565 and your name. Don't forget to attach your name, and you never know, you could be a winner. The most accurate answers will win the phone. We're giving out 3 phones every week, courtesy of HTC. Imi, a couple of, are there particular sitting postures for particular events? There, for example, you've talked about the interview. How do you sit at a dinner table, for example? Is there, what are the, because I know if someone sits badly, the focus, you know, is drawn away from even the content that you have, and me, I just focus on the thighs.
Understandably. Understandably.
Right.
Yes.
In your interaction, the work that you've done, what have you discovered?
Basically, I cannot say that there is a particular posture to have a different functions. However, especially if you're sitting on a stool, it's only proper that actually you sit up. But you see, with posture, just like with everything, like with exercise, it takes training. It's not something that you're going to start today and feel and accomplish in one day. Right. Because for the longest time, many of us have been sitting badly. I've been sitting very poorly, you know. So it's going to take time and practice to actually make yourself conscious that I'm sitting in a very bad position, yeah? So for example, if you're having an interview, most times for like journalists, you'll sit on a stool, sort of like a bar stool. The best you can do for yourself is to actually plant your feet firm on the ground, because then when you're doing that, then it's easy for you to actually sit straight up, because again, because they don't have any back support, your back is actually your support at that point. Yes. So sitting up straight is actually in your favor. One, it helps you to breathe better and be able to talk more eloquently, not run out of breath as you're speaking. I don't know if you've experienced that before.
Yes, I have experienced.
Sometimes that's because of you slouching forward, because of the uncomfort of the stool.
Right.
At a dinner table, again, it's about etiquette. At a dinner table, it's proper to actually, unless food is being served, to actually keep your hands under the table. When food has been served, then you use your utensils, your knife and your fork that you're going to use. And as you cut your food, again, your hands are not supposed to rest on the table. You're supposed to actually cut it and eat and then pause.
Sometimes when the meat is a bit hard, there's a steak, eh? It's medium rare.
They're supposed to give you a proper steak knife that should help you to cut through that tough steak.
Take a look at the Queen. This is a picture of the Queen and how she sits. Very elegant. I don't know if is it up on the screen? It's on the screen, right? And you can take a look and see how she sits. That's how proper ladies are supposed to sit.
Absolutely.
Let's first quickly go to our Facebook page and take a look at some of your comments. And of course, remember our Facebook page is Morning at NTV. You can join the forum. You can join the discussion. And my producer is telling me that I'm sitting badly, so let me readjust myself. And tell us, ask anything. We are with Immaculate Birungi this morning, and she's talking about sitting posture and how we can sit. All right. Some of you are still continuing the conversation. Brian, I'm sure you're enjoying some stuff right now. I love the show. You're doing a good job, Brian. We're learning from it. Do you train people on etiquette?
Not officially, but those, especially young girls, it's more, for me, that's more of a personal thing that I do. Apart from just being an entrepreneur, I'm also a mentor to young girls. So that's something that I do with especially young girls looking for jobs, fresh from campus, you know, because we realize that maybe along the way, that education, they miss out on that education. And it's very important for ladies and I believe for girls to be able to make it in the world, to be able to have some mannerisms that are acceptable in the workplaces that they are looking forward to join. Right. So yes, on a personal level, I do that, but not as Pampuzon.
Right.
Yes.
Well, if you feel free to go a couple of guidelines on how you can sit carefully. You need to sit as close to the front of the chair as you can. Turn and prepare your body for the sitting posture, and as soon as your back legs touch the chair seat, slide one foot back. How is that art?
Exactly like
you just do this?
Yes.
Okay. Slide one foot back and never sit with legs apart. Yeah. If you're crossing your legs at the knees, there should be no space between the heel and the ankle. too detailed.
A bit too detailed.
Yeah, place your hands together on your lap. Exactly. And I can see you're doing that. So
it takes practice. Like I said, it takes practice. This is something I do now. I don't. It's like second nature to me. I don't even think about it anymore.
Right.
Yes.
Bambins, I just sit the way I... Lengthen your spine, free the neck, and balance the head above the shoulders. In short, sit tall.
You know, one thing about posture, Brian, is that it tells people about your level of confidence. If you're, for example, you walk into a room and you just see like 4 people seated in a chair, for example, the person who sits up straight and who is, you know, sitting upright, somehow catches your eye because they exude a certain level of confidence. And that's what a proper sitting posture does for people. It gives you a level of confidence that someone else would not be able to have. Because then you see why it is that, first of all, as you sit up, as you even stand and sit up properly, your head is held high. Okay, your shoulders are back, your chest is out, showing the world that I'm here. Look at me, I'm here, I know what I'm about.
Right.
Yet if you're a person who slouches or is always hunched over, it's a very big sign of inferiority complex, of lack of confidence in yourself.
Right.
So it's just about physical appearance, but also in terms of what people interpret about you. It's actually, they can interpret a lot from how you sit and how you're standing.
Right.
So it's very, very, very important.
Thank you, Imi. We'll definitely come to
Pamper Zone
Health for a massage and the uses of massage. I think I'll be the specimen on that day.
And actually, one of the things we see at the spa is that when people come for massage, one of the questions we ask them, what's the problem? Why do you want to have a massage?
Oh.
And when people tell us backache,
not just
shoulder ache,
okay.
no.
Not just fun.
No, and then realize that, and the next question I normally ask is ask them, how is your sitting posture? And they'll say, actually, my office chair is terrible, actually backache because of this and this and that. So actually, the sitting postures, poor sitting posture causes a lot of backache, shoulder aches, and therefore we get customers from such people.
Right. Well, you can check out Pamper Zone in Kamocha. But in a couple of minutes, we'll be having a sports update with Isma. Isma, what do we have this morning?
Good morning. And when we get back, we'll be discussing a lot of Manchester United as they travel to Greece to play Olympiacos. There is also, from the local scene, we'll discuss the selections that Mitchell has made in his 25-man squad that travels to Zambia for an international friendly next week. And also do a small hint about what the Premier League title race will shape. And knowing that there is only 11 games to go, there is no reason why you should be changing your TV set now.
Well, thank you so much, Isman. You can join us in about 2 minutes for the sports update. And that was all we had for you on Everyday Life, powered by HTC. Quietly brilliant. Stay with us.
Everyday Life was brought to you by...
And we are HTC.
She was molested when she was 6 by someone she trusted.
The doctors finally walked into the door. They basically were telling me that she had a 5% chance of living.
I couldn't understand how somebody that tells you they loved you, that held you as a child, could abuse you.
Tommy Scott grew up among gang violence, drugs, and poverty in the projects of South Central Los Angeles.
I felt not normal, not good. I wasn't lovable.
As a teen, Melissa discovered that drinking gave some relief.
Tommy is free today and continues to tell people that it was Jesus who changed his life.
The time I spent in prison, I spent putting my ideas together on, how I was going to come back and make it all right.
And I realized my purpose, that I was created to reflect the glory of God.
Duke now realizes why God kept him alive.
These were real people facing desperate situations, just like you and me.
Jesus died to set you free, and he can give you a new heart.
Gabriela is trapped in a collapsing mine and she is rescued by Alejandro, and underneath the rubble, they fell in love.
Beautiful and iron-willed.
I told you 1,000 times not to put your hands on me. Your mom working in a mine is nothing for you to be ashamed of. In fact, you should be very proud of it, honey.
But her destiny will be marked. Alejandro's ambitious mother becomes her worst enemy.
She was cast into prison, and all that she was left with was her memories of her son and the woman. Now she has to forge a way to revenge on the other side. Coming soon on NTV.
Many generations ago, the warrior Apoena from the Karaway tribe fell in love with young Antonia. When they returned to the Araguaia River with the young white girl carrying their child, they awoke Iaru's hatred. Raised away from the curse, Solano Rangel, the last descendant of Antonia and Apoena, returns to uncover his roots, but he couldn't resist Estella's charm. But she keeps a secret in the past. Estella. Her real name is Estrella Karaway. And her destiny is to fulfill the curse. Destiny River.
Coming soon on NTV. On the next episode of Rational Hearts.
I hear that, my friend. But now you have to become fish food. Attention, I need help. This is the passenger speaking. The pilot passed out. I think it's a heart attack. The plane is crashing.
You don't know what happened?
No, I don't. What happened?
Norma's been murdered. It was Leo.
Leo?
Where's he hiding, Wanda?
Rational Hearts.
oluvannyuma lwa lutalo abaana bangi batwalibwa abekika era bulala basigadde
abamu bajja ne babakima
era twagenda mu lukoola eyo nakasongola mu buluuri twagenda mu butale babalaaro okubuuza omwana oyo mumanyi
nti mukwate obutonde obwekonkome mukwate obutonde bwa Ebola mubuteeke mu nsigo omuzungu ayogedde palamenti muyise bosi basajja
omulembe guno gutuusemu n'abantu n'entondo kati waliwo n'emyaka egy'entondo
waliwo yakiŋŋamba
bamugamba muŋŋambe bulungi kati munkwate empola
dokita buli akwata bayibuli eno ajja kusomera bintu nga ye bw'alowooza. For example, waliwo controversy yaliwo
tobeera mu ssuuti ate n'oteeka mu gganduula
olina kubeerako kimu
kubanga nkusomesezza tumaze emyaka 2 tusomesa bannayuganda eddembe lyammwe mulimanyi oluusi n'obusobozi obulina nakulabira abaganda baagala kabaka
Gabriela is trapped in a collapsing mine and she is rescued by Alejandro, and underneath the rubble they fell in love.
Beautiful and iron-willed.
I told you 1,000 times not to put your hands on me. Your mom working in a mine is nothing for you to be ashamed of. In fact, you should be very proud of it, honey.
But her destiny will be marked. Alejandro's ambitious mother becomes her worst enemy.
She was cast into prison, and all that she was left with was her memories of her son and the woman. Now she has to forge a way to revenge on the other side.
Marriage is tough, but you suck it up and you stick through the good times and the bad times. What kind of example are you setting for your sister who is about to walk down the aisle herself?
Shut up, Mandy. Seriously, you just keep poking and poking at other people's relationships. You're like a cancer.
Ati, I hope you're discussing fashion. Because you have everything under control, yes? And the only crisis you're going to have is you clashing with the red carpet.
We've made mistakes. And that's what marriage is all about. Mistakes and forgiveness. For better or for worse.
I'm sorry, but I've got to ask.
Nothing happened between me and Lucia.
Well, Lulu is not here, and if she comes, I'll tell her you picked the wrong person to mess with, Lucy.
I'm gonna blow your mind and I'm gonna twist your taste buds. The flavors are already coming together. I can feel them. Very lovely, very appetizing, very healthy. Remember, the way you see it, the way you like it, is the way you get it from my kitchen to your kitchen.
The average age of the international team is under 18. And
the primary role of Team Uganda is to remain to Division 2.
Probably that's the only thing that can make one or two rugby fans smile, that the Cubs are doing well.
The players haven't put on they haven't wore the game faces. They're not the animals we saw last season, because Ferguson had the same group of players and he did deliver the Holy Grail, which is the title.
Time check right now, it's only 14 minutes on to 9 o'clock. Thank you so much for staying with us. I hope this morning you've learned something on etiquette, how to sit. Isma, I can see, yeah, you were definitely tuning in. And earlier in the show, in the first hour of this show, we had indeed a big story. Pastor Sempa, Pastor Mare, Kasiate, all of them on fire, passionate about the anti-gay law. And tell us your comments on our Facebook page, Morning at NTV. And you can tweet us at Morning at NTV. But also send your thoughts to 6565. And remember, you can be a winner of the brilliant, awesome, beautiful HTC. All you have to do is answer the questions, and you can send them to 6565. Good morning, Isma.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
Very good. Very, very good, I've got to say.
Yeah.
I rarely occupy myself with too many things that will take away the good mood.
Okay.
Yeah, I prefer to live with a very selfish mindset.
Like that suit of 40K? Okay.
Okay, can you please...
and I'm quite now... There's a problem. Every time I see you in a suit, I analyze. Is that 40,000 shillings or 400,000 shillings?
No, it was a typing error.
It was a typing error.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
It must have been 400K. But I want to go straight to cricket. Veteran coach and administrator William Kamanyi recently received recognition from the ICC Lifetime Achievement Award. What does that mean for him?
I think if there is anyone who deserves to win an award like this, it's got to be Kamanyi. Many of us who have grown up with interaction with cricket, Kamanyi is our first introduction. He's probably handed you your first kit because he's come to your school and given you a bat or given you a few pads here and there. And most times when he gave out a bag, you'd have to split it up because everyone would have a piece of it. For many of the people involved with the game, especially my generation, and my generation, without even revealing my age on national television, is exactly everything that has been good about Ugandan cricket. His commitment to the game is unwavering. Most of us, even by the time we got involved with the game, Kamanyi was there. He's one of the brains behind, for example, the Schools Cricket Initiative, where most of the players have come through the system. And he's been part of the UCA, the Uganda Cricket Association, as an administrator. He's coached several teams, and he's really contributed to the game in this country. And we are kind of a country, like Jose Chameleon sang, we are kind of a country that loves Basimo Genze. To see Kamanyi being recognized, for me, I look at him way up there with one of the men I've met who who was a pioneer of cricket in this country, whose name skips by the word. I bet he's watching and he'll be feeling mad and miffed about me for getting that. But I think I'd hold him alongside Samuel Lusimbi and John Nagenda in terms of their contribution, and only because Samuel Lusimbi and John Nagenda did represent Uganda at the World Cup back in 1975. But Kamanyi's contribution to the growth of the game, especially in the Schools Cricket Week kind of platform, especially in the underage teams, is something that you cannot totally discredit. The recognition he's getting from International Cricket Council, for me, long overdue.
Long overdue. The 71-year-old, of course, being recognized, he played for the national team from 71 to 83 and also held the national long jump record. Wow. And it stood for 14 years, that particular record. He also represented Uganda at the 1962 Commonwealth Games in Perth, Australia. And he's a physiotherapist to the national team. He was there for many years, was part of the staff as the under-19 side qualified for the ICC World Cup in 2012 in Bangladesh, and is currently a university lecturer teaching cricket as a module in sports science.
Sometimes I think I did the wrong course. The moment I realized, the moment I read the part that he's a lecturer, I wanted to go back and study this.
Wow. And
take lessons from class. Yet I do watch a lot of cricket. That
I think you can teach sports betting as a module. Can do this or something. Let's switch over to the national side, football. Mitchell summoning the team. You know, we have an international friendly coming up against Zambia, a team that beat us here. But you know, any glaring omissions you have ahead?
I think when I look at the team, and it's a team of 25, the first name I noticed that wasn't on this side was Eunice Sentamu, who had been the name especially because of African Nations Championship, and also Savio Kabogo, also being ignored for this one, as Mitchell chooses 25 and is going to bring this to 18 before they travel to Zambia for this friendly. For me, a good opportunity for Mitchell to test his squad, because he may not have any other chance and to test the side, because with the qualifiers coming, the 2015 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers, like Pastor Sempa declared that Uganda is now going to qualify for the Nations Cup, because now the anti-gay bill. I hope this is I hope the anti-gay act is connected to the team qualifying, because football has had a lot of problem with this. We know so many players who have been who have gone through this because of the financial reward that comes with it. Homosexuality in football has been there for some time. But that's not the point here. I'm hoping he's going to use this friendly for everything that they'll need for that, because I would have loved the fact if this friendly came when Uganda know who they are going to play.
Yes.
Because unluckily for now, they haven't yet done the draw for the 2015 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers, and if they had, this would be very good.
So we're just keeping our team active, you know.
Yeah, the lucky thing that we're keeping it active on the FIFA calendar, because normally we do have friendlies, but we don't play them at the time when they're supposed to be played. Yet FIFA has official dates. And for luckily, friendlies. For friendlies. And in this way, you gain ranking points from the FIFA ranking table. Now, March 5th is an official FIFA calendar date, which is a good thing that the Federation is starting to organize friendlies like this. There haven't been so many. I could almost pick out all the friendlies we played on official dates against Rwanda, against Libya, when Al-Assad Gaddafi, the son of the former leader of Libya, did come here to Nambole. There are very few of them over the past probably 10 years. Right. But it's a good one that now we are now playing within the calendar that the world is following.
That's good. And most of your comments on Facebook are also pointing to one of the biggest nights in sport, especially in Europe. The Champions League, Manchester United away at Olympiacos, and Dortmund away at Zenit. Let's quickly look at Man U. What are the chances that, well, they are doing well in Europe, but doing badly at home in the Premier League? What do you predict tonight?
I think a very solid Manchester United performance, not because they beat up on Crystal Palace at the weekend, but like you said, they've been doing very well in Europe. They didn't lose at Real Sociedad. They beat up on Bayer Leverkusen by 5-0 in Germany. And David Moyes should be feeling very confident about their chances. And the team they play against would not cause any kind of jitters among the Manchester United dressing room, because while Olympiacos, for example, in Greece they have not lost in 69 games in the league. They are 24 points clear at the top of the table, but they are not playing the opposition that Manchester United is, and they'll be feeling very confident Manchester United going into this one, knowing that they failed to get past this stage last season, losing to Real Madrid. but that was a very good Real Madrid side, and many will look back at that decision when the red card was given to the Nani as being the game-changing moment of that match. So I have a feeling that if United go there and put up a very solid performance, especially in terms of how well they defend, this Olympiacos side is even weaker than they sold their best striker, Mitoglu, who would now join Fulham. So they should be looking at it as a very big opportunity for Manchester United, I think, in terms of advancing. They get a good result in Greece, then that's a start. To show you how confident United are, I was looking at their press conference on Sky last evening, and David Moyes and Nemanja Vidic think they can win the Champions League.
Wow.
Many people could think they are mad, and I don't think they are. Wow. Because many times you don't have to be the best team to win a knockout competition.
Yes.
Wigan won the FA Cup. They are not anywhere close to the best teams in England. And then when I look at this, when they were saying that this they could win the Champions League, I looked at one of the things I picked up on was not only being the best team, but in the past 10 years, when the Champions League format was changed back in 2003, we've seen so many unconventional winners, from Porto in 2004 to Liverpool in 2005 to Chelsea in 2012. Sometimes you don't have to be the best side to win this competition.
Right.
You just have to get the luck of a draw, and they have the perfect draw in Olympiacos. How far they'll go, after this, then we'll judge who they face in the next round, the quarterfinals and semi-finals.
Right. You can also catch, of course, Dortmund against Zenit. Let's go to the Premier League. 11 matches to go. And the rest is on for the top four. Key dates for the top four sides. March 8th, Chelsea versus Tottenham. March 16th, Manchester United against Liverpool. Tottenham against Arsenal. And March 22nd, Chelsea against Arsenal. Man United still have Man City. Arsenal against Man City, Liverpool against Tottenham, and April 5th, Everton against Arsenal.
There should be teams that will look at these fixtures with a lot more optimism. One of them should be Arsenal. When we came a few weeks back, about 2 weeks ago, we were discussing how tough the fixtures were for the Arsenal.
Yes.
But look what they've done. They are still not out of it because they're only a point behind Chelsea, having played the bulk of the harder fixtures at this point. Then there's Chelsea who are leading and pick up at very important 3 points against Everton on Saturday. Then there is Man City, who don't play in the league until March 15th. I'm waiting to see by the time they come back from this break, because they are playing in the Capital One Cup final on Sunday, and then playing the FA Cup, so they won't be playing league football for quite some time.
Yeah. So
they won't be playing. Then Liverpool, who should have an advantage because they only have 11 games to go. They're not playing in Europe like all the other three. So Liverpool should be feeling very confident. But then, when I look at the last 11 fixtures, Liverpool have the bulk of the tough of the fixtures.
Yeah.
Because in the next 11 fixtures, Liverpool have to play the top two, which is the two of the top three. That is Chelsea and Man City. Luckily, both of those games are at Anfield, and so they have to also host Tottenham. Who are fifth, and then have to travel to Old Trafford. So, of the 11, Liverpool could easily lose 4.
Wow.
And probably if they get 2 victories out of the 4, then they should be feeling confident about their title hopes. And then people don't believe Liverpool win the league, and so do I.
Yeah, and I also do think. I'm telling you, and it's not just dissing Liverpool, but I honestly think the team does not have the mental,
Probably that could be one, but then there are pointers that Liverpool have done so well this season. For example, do you know that Liverpool have scored the most in the Premier League this season? They've scored 70. Only Man City have scored close to them, that is 69. And the problem is their defense. They've conceded 35. Probably if they defend better from here on and have Suarez and Sturridge scoring like they have all season, probably they will be right there in the conversation. But for me, for any team that is going to win of these top 4, they've got to be in the conversation with 3 games to play. That's when
when it will come down to the wire.
Exactly.
Well, catch more of Isma and Lumanse on Omumuli. The brand new Omumuli. Looking good on that brand new set.
Yeah.
You guys look good. And at 1:30 p.m. and of course Sports Bar coming to you live from Club Silk every Monday at 10:30 p.m. We also have other sports shows like Rock and Roll, Rugby Show, and you know that we're bringing you rugby live when the games are on at Chadon or Kampala Rugby. And before we leave you, your African proverb. Stay with us. And this morning's African proverb, very interesting. A happy man marries the girl he loves, but a happier man loves the girl he marries. Let's get Mabel here because this is very interesting. Yes,
A happier man?
Hey, come here. Come here.
Come right here in the middle.
A happier man?
A happier man.
A happy man?
A happy man marries the girl he loves, but a happier man loves the girl he marries. What does that mean?
I think it depends on love, because someone may be happy and just marries anyone.
Right.
Yeah, but I think the last part is a happier man marries.
Loves the girl he marries. I think that's deep. Huh?
It's very deep.
Very deep.
Because to sustain that marriage, man, you gotta have too much love.
It reminds me of one of those Luganda songs I had on the Luganda radio that this love only lasts the first 2 years. After that, it's endurance. So the moment I heard that, happier man loves the girl he marries.
Just the other day, someone told me that the key in marriage is patience and listening. If you are love, you'll be simple, but if you are patient and you listen to the other person,
surely.
Well, to all the men that love the girls they want to marry, or to all the men that are about to marry the girls they love, well, good luck. And from us to you, we want to say bye-bye and stay safe. Yes, we'll continue this discussion online on our Morning at NTV page on Facebook, and also at Morning at NTV. Follow us there. You can also send the text to 6565. Good day. So.
She was molested when she was 6 by someone she trusted.
The doctors finally walked into the door. They basically were telling me that she had a 5% chance of living.
I couldn't understand how somebody that tells you they loved you, that held you as a child, could abuse you.
Tommy Scott grew up among gang violence, drugs, and poverty in the projects of South Central Los Angeles.
I felt not normal, not good. I wasn't lovable.
As a teen, Melissa discovered that drinking gave some relief.
Tommy is free today and continues to tell people that it was Jesus who changed his life.
The time I spent in prison, I spent putting my ideas together on, how I was going to come back and make it all right.
And I realized my purpose, that I was created to reflect the glory of God.
Duke now realizes why God kept him alive.
These were real people facing desperate situations, just like you and me.
Jesus died to set you free, and he can give you a new heart.
Coming soon on NTV.
Many generations ago, the warrior Apoena from the Karaway tribe fell in love with young Antonia. When they returned to the Araguaia River with the young white girl carrying their child, they awoke Iaru's hatred. Raised away from the curse, Solano Rangel, the last descendant of Antonia and Apoena, returns to uncover his roots, but he couldn't resist Estella's charm. But she keeps a secret in the past.
Estella.
Her real name is Estrella Karaway. And her destiny is to fulfill the curse. Destiny River.
Coming soon on NTV. On the next episode of Rational Hearts.
I hear that, my friend, but now you have to become fish food. Attention, I need help. This is the passenger speaking. The pilot passed out. I think it's a heart attack. The plane is crashing.
You don't know what happened?
No, I don't. What happened?
Norma's been murdered. It was Leo.
Leo?
Where's he hiding, Wanda?
A Rational Heart.